Test. They can sense it. You can feel it. It is a day many have waited for their entire lives. Some been here before, and some are here for the first time. The music, Phil Collins, filling the air tonight. That is the GHSA.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, an upcoming minute.
Tournament finals program.
Is now available for sale. Get the finals area up to the minute team scorer and finals commentary in this final three program edition. Available now.
Get a shine up. We were going to put you on TV, but the glare would have killed everything, so we decided not to.
Talking to you.
Hey, Joe.
I can't hear the
How many breaks did you guys take last year?
The PA was in my headset really bad.
You guys take last year?
I can't. I mean, they're not saying
like
nothing right now, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But it was
Maybe
real bad earlier.
Not many. Yeah, not many. 2 or 3.
They can sense it. You can feel it. It is a day many have waited for their entire lives for. Some have been here before. Some are here for the first time. And with the music of Phil Collins filling the air tonight, it's the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia. WSB TV proudly welcomes you to our live coverage of the 2012 GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia. Coming to you live from the arena at Gwinnett Center, I'm Anthony Amy. And from 106 pounds all the way to 285 pounds, 140 young men will square off this afternoon for the right to be called state champions. Following the action for you today, these two gentlemen, Joe Miller and Dr. Truth Scott McDonald. Let's start with you, Scott. Over the course of the next 3 hours, there are plenty of storylines to look forward to.
We got 3 really big ones, Anthony, that stand out. We've got Tyler Askey trying to stay undefeated in his high school career. We've got Chad Starnes of Alexander High School trying to make it 4 state championships in a row. And we've got Spencer Jones from Darlington High School. He as well is trying to go for his 4th state championship. Should be fantastic action.
We look forward to all those individual situations. Also, Joe, plenty of team honors that are to be looked forward to as well.
We got some team scores to decide here tonight, Anthony. Start with the big boys in 5A. Collinsville and Camden County, these two teams locked horns at the dual tournament a couple of weeks ago. Camden won it on the criteria. 27-27 tie. They had more pins. They won the title. Might be a different story here tonight at the traditional tournament. You look at the team scores. Collinsville with about a 20-point lead. Collinsville with 6 finalists to Camden County's 4. In 4A, Pope, traditional defending champ in 4A. They have a big lead over Alexander. 3A should be a very good one. Heritage, Catoosa, and Gilmer, about 10 points separate these two. 8 finalists between the two schools. None of them, however, wrestle head-to-head. So a lot of finalists, a lot to be decided in 3A. 2A, what can you say about Jefferson, guys? Maybe the most dominant team in any sport here in Georgia. They have already wrapped up their 12th consecutive state title. They've got 9 finalists tonight. Just another impressive performance in 2A. And don't save the best for last with Bremen and Gordon Lee in 1A. About 10 points separating those two teams, guys. And Gordon and Bremen's going for number 4, but Gordon right on their heels. They both have a couple of finalists. So a lot to be decided in about 3 of the 5 divisions. Should be good stuff.
I know that we can't wait. We know that you can't wait. And coming up, we'll get things started. The 106-pound weight class as the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia get underway right after this quick break. Back live at the arena at Gwinnett Center, and the 2012 GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships underway. Anthony Emmy, Joe Miller, Scott McDonald with you guys. We start out with the lightest weight class featuring two of the youngest competitors. Scott.
106 5A championship right here. We got Sam Bullard. Sam took third at the Southern Slam this year. He took second at the Heart of Dixie in Alabama. He's a defending state champ in the kids division, but he's only a freshman. His granddad's his biggest inspiration. He's got two twin brothers that really beat him up on a regular basis, and he's got some great drill partners, but he's got his hands full right here, doesn't he, Joe?
He does. The opponent, Sean Russell, a sophomore. You see Russell in already with the takedown. There's the escape by Bullard, but Sean Russell, not only one of the best in Georgia, folks, one of the best in the nation. He's ranked top 10 in some national polls in the weight classes. You see him in again quickly on the shot. 58 wins, guys, on the season. 58-2 for the sophomore Sean Hell. We're going to see a lot of these Collins Hill singlets tonight. The black final singlets with the white stripe. Russell, one of 6 finalists here tonight for Collins Hill. Bullard, the freshman from Archer, he's in the silver and red singlet. You see the score there, Scotty, 2-1 early, and really Bullard's lucky to get out of there without back points. I thought Russell had that head in the side cradle early on. I thought it could have been big trouble for Bullard, but the freshman countered nicely and got the escape.
Yeah, that cradle looked pretty tight right there. I thought he was going to be in some trouble, but the thing is, you talked about Russell being 58-2. Those 2 matches that he lost, the Iron Man up in Ohio, one of the toughest tournaments in the country. I mean, you know that as well as I do, Joe. He's got a front headlock right here, working it right out of bounds. Going to get a new start.
These are 3 2-minute periods, 6-minute match as we're down to the final 30 seconds of this first period. Russell from Collins Hill in the black taking on Bullard, the freshman from Archer, in the silver and red. It's a 2-1 lead for Sean Russell. Takedown right away off the bat. The escape by Bullard, and that's where we sit. Winding down this first period. This is a 5A championship match at 106 pounds, our first of 14 tonight, and so glad you're with us here for the 2012 GHSA Traditional State Championship. Scott, and I would have to think Sam Bullard's got to be pretty happy with that.
Hey, I tell you, 2-1 first period with Sean Russell, anybody would be happy for that. Yesterday in the semifinals, scored a takedown in the first 3 seconds of the match. I was like, man, this guy's coming right out. Every match he seems to be just right in your face, right straight forward. Getting ready to start second period here.
Russell's going to go down. Second period, work for the escape, which he gets very quickly, extending his lead now to 3-1 for the sophomore from Collins Hill High School. 58 wins on the season.
Working that front headlock right there on the edge,
Joe and Scott, I asked Sean Russell earlier just about being the one to start the competition. And in so many sports, for instance, in football, you either decide to take the kickoff or you decide to defer until the second half, depending on which unit you want out there first, your offense or your defense. Sean Russell said, I want to be out there. I get pumped up just knowing that I'm able to set the tone and start this competition off right for my school.
Well, he's normally the guy with tons of offense. I mean, he brings it. He never slows down. As you can see right now, he's going to work that. He's going to work that over under, a little bit of rushing. He'll work the front headlocks. He's just tough on top. I mean, watch him right here, Joe. You see how he's really aggressive.
He's got that nice front headlock position there. You see the shot attempt by Bullard, and Russell quickly with the speed. Scotty, this is something we talked about in the semis last night, as there's the signal from the official. 2-point takedown. That's a 5-1 lead now for Russell was the speed, and we wondered if anyone in the state could forget about the technical prowess, but just the flat speed of this young man that on his feet from feet to mat as quick as anyone we watched in the semifinal round last night.
Yeah, he's so slick. I mean, every time you turn around, he's got so many different moves. There's just a full arsenal of moves. You don't know what's coming. You can't tell which move's coming next. I'm really surprised here he didn't bring him up. Oh, okay, he's going to go optional start now. He's going to give him an optional start. He's going to let Bullard up. He's going to make it 5-2 right here.
So the concedes the escape, does Russell. Comfortable going back on his feet, and there you can see why, as he's in again on a shot, and no signal yet from the official. You see Bullard hanging on to that leg. Well, nice counter there by Bullard. They'll go out of bounds. Will be neutral. 30 seconds to go in this second period. Our first of 14 bouts here tonight at the arena at Gwinnett Center. And Sean Russell, one of the top-ranked 106-pounders nationally. Boy, he had a, what was it, Scott? We were talking to him before the finals tonight. The Final Four, one of those great dual meet tournaments up in northern Pennsylvania. He was outstanding wrestler the whole tournament. You're talking about the top-ranked competition in the United States. For this young man to walk out with that speaks volumes of what he's been doing on the mat this year. Yeah, actually, he went undefeated at the tournament, but his drill partner, Ryan Milhoff's the one who actually won OW at the tournament. But this young man right here to go undefeated as well at that tournament speaks volumes. Yeah, heck of an effort by Collins Hill as a team up at that Final Four. We talked about it, guys. They got 6 finalists, and you know, Camden County, the team that beat them on criteria. I don't have to think, Scott and Anthony, there's a little bit of payback on the 6 Collins Hill kids' minds here tonight. They lost on a criteria. It was 2 pins to 1 at the team state finals. The teams ended up 27-27. They had to go to criteria to decide it. So if I'm a Collins Hill wrestler, boy, do I got a chip on my shoulder heading into this weekend to Gwinnett. Yeah, they had something to prove coming in here. And I know, Anthony, I know you saw a little bit of it last night. What'd you think? Were they impressive?
They were impressive, and the crowd that they bring out that supports these Eagles are impressive. And you guys mentioned that they lose on a criteria. That snapped a string of 4 straight dual championships for the Eagles. And now, as you mentioned, Joe, they're trying to get some payback.
Oh, here we go. Russell with that head in the side cradle. This is tight. Referee Rick Hinneball's right on the action, too. And again, I give this Bullard credit. He might not win the match, guys, but he's fought off his back twice. It's going to be near fall and an escape. We'll see if it's, it was a 3-point near fall, so 12-4 is going to be your score, about 1:10 to go. But that's the second time, Scotty, we see Russell go to that head inside single, switch off to the head in the side cradle. And that's 2 times in this match he's put Bullard to his back with that move. I really like seeing these kids when they're winning to keep wrestling. You know, where they don't stop, they just keep going. They're not happy with just, you know, winning the match. They want to go on. And like right there, I mean, he was about to do an arm drag right there, and he's up by 8. He doesn't really have to do it, but he understands team score too, and, you know, getting those additional team points by majoring or pinning or even a tech fall. 45 seconds now to go in this one, 12-4. Sean Russell, this would be a major decision too, so a little extra tick in the team score here, guys, for Collins Hill. You beat your opponent by 8 or more points, it's considered bonus points, so a big win on a couple of fronts here for Russell. Obviously, you want the individual glory in the state title, but Collins Hill trying to button up a team title here as well. And the first of 6 finalists well on his way. He has controlled the action, got a takedown about 10 seconds into the match, and has certainly been the dominant wrestler here tonight at 106 pounds. And we're down to the final few ticks right here, and I got to tell you, I'm impressed. Bullard stayed in there. Yeah, he competed. A full 6 minutes. You know, never gave up, kept continuously taking shots. We're going to end up with a 14-4 score. Collins Hill gets the first state champion this year. That's number 2 for Russell. He'll be going for 2 more to make a 4-timer himself in a couple of years.
We have a couple of guys going for 4 in a row today. And Russell, very impressive already. And upset last year as a freshman and now winning a 2nd straight state championship.
And that's really the hurdle, guys. When you get that number 2, now you start the discussion of that rare air of the 4-peats. And you got to take care of your business as an underclassman. Russell, very impressive.
Only 23 others have done it in terms of 4 in a row.
He's a good kid too. You know, he works so hard. He just goes at it. He never stops.
All right, Sean Russell, can you hear us? Sean Russell, can you hear us? We're attempting to get Sean Russell and talk to him here just moments after he finished off his 106-pound state championship, 2nd consecutive state championship for Sean Russell. Sean, can you hear us? We'll work out those kinks as we move along. And first, Scott, let's take a look at the replay as Sean Russell puts a cap on a 2nd straight title.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. Never stops wrestling, even when he's up. You know, he gets his last takedown right there just to seal the deal. 14-4. Great performance again. 2 years in a row for this young man.
Next match, we go to mat 4 now. And from Pope High School, 113 pounds, Cameron Muncie, a senior, facing off against Rashad Anthony, a senior out of Lee County High School. This is 4A, 113 pounds.
You know, the thing is, these two guys, very, very, very familiar with each other, okay? It's this is going to be a battle. This is going to be technique versus speed. Anthony is lightning quick, and what an athlete. He's going to be coming out. There's going to be a lot of misdirections, a lot of body shots, a lot of fake shots, a lot of movement right here. He was beaten last year, you know, in the quarters by this gentleman he's wrestling right now, Muncie. You know, we interviewed these guys earlier, and it was really fun with both of them, and I know you guys recall that. But, you know, Muncie's going to be a great one right here, Joe.
And we're underway at 113 pounds. Cameron Muncie of Pope High School. He's in the silver and the dark blue singlet. And Rashad Anthony, the senior from Lee County High School, in the red and black singlet. We're out of bounds, back to neutral here early on in this 113-pound final. And you know, I love it, Scott, as you can see in the background there, guys, the parents and Anthony. What are they unique? I've done wrestling all over the country, all over the world. That the Georgia, the GHSA, they do with putting the parents mat side. I absolutely love it, and just the emotion that I'm sure our cameras and the kids will pick up tonight's awesome as we get this one underway. Absolutely.
Yeah, those emotions when they get there, it's just crazy at the end. But you know, when we interviewed these guys earlier, I know you got some great stories out of that, Anthony. And it was fantastic what these guys had to say.
Cameron Muncie out of Pope, 41-1 this year. And as you mentioned earlier, Scott, he beat Rashad Anthony last year in the quarterfinals, also beat him by 1 point earlier this year, as Anthony has just 5 defeats on the season. One of them, though, to his opponent today, Cameron Muncie. Joe, there are so many people that are tuning in for the first time to traditional wrestling. If you can just explain some of the rules that they'll be watching.
Yep, absolutely. 3 2-minute periods make up a match. A quick tutorial on the scoring. A takedown at 2 points. Near fall, when you expose your opponent 45-degree angle to the back, either 2 or 3 points, depending on the count. A reversal, if you're on bottom, you get on top of your opponent, that's worth 2 points. An escape, if you're taken down and you get back to your feet neutral, is worth 1 point. Obviously, if you pin both your opponent's shoulders to the mat, the official will slap the mat, and that will end it. And I don't know, guys, if we'll see any pins here tonight. We saw some wild ones, Scott, in the semis last night. We had a lot of upsets, so you never know. When the lights come on and the cameras and the arena fills and you got Phil Collins, for goodness sakes, you never know what's going to happen, do you?
That's why they wrestle them, buddy. We've talked about it time and time again. You know, when you talk about upsets in a sport, it's hard to really call anything an upset when these guys work as hard as a wrestler does at practice, training. I mean, they give up so much to be an athlete like this. And, you know, it's hard to call it an upset, but sometimes you have to call it that way. But, you know, these two guys right here, very, very close in talent. We know it was a 1 point match last time they met. This is going to be a great finish to watch this match right here. About to wind down the first period, Joe.
Yeah, this has been just classic counter wrestling here in the first period, guys. One wrestler kind of feeling out the other, not really committing too much from the move, but kind of, you know, playing a game of chicken with your opponent. Kind of that, you know, when you have the last play and you call the timeout to see how they set up the defense here. That's what's going on here in this first period as the final seconds tick off. And we're going to have our 113-pound 4A final go scoreless, guys, 0-0. And now here's an important spot for wrestling right here, Scott, is that first point. I think, well, overtime's a long ways away, but whoever, in the event that this would go to overtime, this is a big spot in the match. Whoever scores first has the choice in overtime, so this is a big spot in the match. You say 0-0 second period, it's a 6-minute match, who cares? But keep an eye right here. If Muncie gets the escape, you just never know.
You know, Muncie's fairly big as a comparison, you know, size-wise. I think it's going to be hard for Anthony to hold him down, but, you know, he's working pretty tight right here. Crashing him flat, bumping the hips pretty hard. Referee Tim Gilbert right on the action, and backup ref Frank Bennett circling the action, checking the other side. Nice cross-body ride right there.
As these two.
Oh, and you see the cross-body ride. That's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a reversal, perhaps. Well, Muncie he did get the legs in. They go out of bounds. It's going to be 2 reversal, guys. But, boy, I'll tell you what, great scrambling by both wrestlers. Rashad Anthony for getting off his back, and Muncie for having the wherewithal to put his leg in and get the 2-point reversal.
Fantastic right there. I love to see the athleticism. Look at that right there.
Here it is again.
Nice.
mean, that's just great counter on top of counter. I mean, I don't know how in the world Rashad Anthony, guys, doesn't go to his back there. That is scary good hip strength by Rashad Anthony to only give up the 2-point reversal.
See if he can escape right here. He's going to have to do something. He's up quick.
As these two 113-pound seniors continue to go at it, we want to remind you real quick, you don't have to miss a single one of today's matches. We're streaming live all 5 mats featuring all 5 classifications at GHSA.tv. If you have to go away from your TV, you can also watch our live program at WSBTV.com.
And where would you rather be, right, than dialing up on one of these great championship matches tonight? We're just getting started.
And this is a great atmosphere. A perfect venue for wrestling.
It's been a fun 3 days. As there, as you see the Granby roll attempt by Rashad Anthony. So now we talked about it. There's the escape, Scott. So Muncie with that reversal does score first. You know, it puts the pressure on the third period if this match stays close to Rashad Anthony. So again, something that doesn't always come up, but to put in the back of your mind if you have that close match late in the match.
That is critical, and every time you get that choice and there is a 0-0 score, you want to score first. You want to make sure you get on the board first, so you do have that choice. I can only imagine when they go to the third period right here, if the score remains 2-1, that Anthony's going to take bottom so you can get the escape and try to tie this match up.
Yeah,
I think it's funny, Joe, too, and not to interrupt you, but if you look in the corner over there, right behind him, you'll see Muncie's mom in the corner, and she's wrestling right along. Look at it, she's really tense up. This is the wrestling parents that we have. I love to watch the wrestling parents.
You can see
one
it at the top of your screen.
Yeah, top left corner. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you guys, my dad is a Hall of Fame wrestling coach up in Wisconsin, and he tells me his theory on good wrestlers that it always comes from the mom. That if any stud wrestler he ever coached, he said, "Boy, I wouldn't mess with mama." So there you go. I mean, look at her. She's ready to go right now.
My wife is listening to that right now, grinning from ear to ear, Joe.
There's a signal up. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds, and right on the out of bounds line. 4 seconds to go in the second period. 2-1. Good match here at 113 pounds. The reversal by Cameron Muncie, the escape by Rashad Anthony, and now Anthony is going to go down to start this third period. His choice, the official, if you missed it there in the second period, the official will flip a coin, and your choice, if your color is up, is top, bottom, neutral, or defer. Muncie with the choice in the second period. Anthony here in the third, and trailing just by a point right now, Scott. How critical, again, you talk about the overtime factor, how critical starting right here from square one is getting this escape right now for Rashad Anthony.
Well, he tried that Granby roll, and I mean, with someone like Muncie, Muncie's a good rider, and he's much longer. I would probably want to stay away from something like that. I mean, I thought he would go back to what he scored on earlier, Joe, just doing a regular stand-up, maybe, turning right out, escape. Here he comes up quick this time.
Well, you see Muncie swinging over to that near single. Oh, nice counter, steps over. We showed you that graphic earlier in the match about the scoring of wrestling. You have to have your opponent on his back for at least 2 seconds to get near fall or back points. You saw the official maybe get about a 1 count there. You got to go at least 2. 2 to 4 seconds is worth 2 points. You get the full 5 count. You get the 3. But I tell you what, Anthony's not thinking about. He's thinking about a reversal right here, Scott.
He is really close. I'm surprised that referee Tim Gilbert has not given him the reversal earlier. Wow, stalemate.
That's a lucky break there, I think, for Muncie. Not lucky that he didn't get the call, but that the stalemate came when it did. If that had happened 5 seconds earlier, Rashad Anthony's got a 3-2 lead right now. As it is, it's 2-1. Anthony goes back to the referee's position, trailing by a point, 1 minute 9 seconds to go.
Trying to work his way back up again. Muncie's just tough on top. I mean, he's a hard rider. He doesn't give any space. I mean, look at the space. I mean, there's no space between hips. Tough on top. That's where you got to be. Keeps the ankle trapped. Working hard on the back of the neck.
And guys, I always love it when you look at the bio sheets, rematch matches. We're going to see a few of those tonight. This was a rematch from the quarterfinals last year in which Muncie got the victory. I know Anthony brought it up in his interview, something that he was focused on. So here you go, 43 seconds. What's going to happen to the 2012 version of these two guys in the state tournament?
He knows he's got 43 seconds left right here.
And Anthony said that the 2 losses to Muncie that he suffered last year and one earlier this year really had no bearing because they were so close. So he came in very confident in this match.
And he's got a good match, but he is looking desperately for that escape to put this thing into overtime. You see again there, trying to come out the back door, as they would say, and get the escape or the reversal. But Muncie so tough with that leg riding. It's going to be, I think, a race here, Scott, against the clock. Can Muncie hang on?
10 seconds. He's
Can he hang on?
10.
And we're going to get a stalemate.
Wow.
Oh, boy. 5 seconds to go. Stalemate. It's right here, guys. This is just, if you're Rashad Anthony, you have to envision being shot out of a cannon right here in the next 5 seconds.
Well, it's either a quick stand-up or you're going to see a standing Granby roll. Something along those lines.
And we're going to get a caution, a false start on Anthony. Get a couple of those, no penalty points. 2 free passes, the third one will result in points, so that's not going to happen here with 4 seconds left.
Mom in the corner, all tensed up. Mom's ready.
Very smart. That is a savvy wrestler there as Muncie drops down to the single leg, and that'll do it. Wow, what a match, guys. I mean, that's right down to the buzzer. Cameron Muncie, a state title at 113 pounds.
A nail-biter between two seniors. And unfortunately for Rashad Anthony, another close loss to Cameron Muncie. All right, guys, so 2 weight classes down, a dozen to go. When we return, the guys from the 120-pound division step to the mats, and you will see it next live right here on WSB. The Bremen Blue Devils, 3-time defending Class A champions in GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships. Zach Young is up next in the 120-pound weight division. Here's what he had to say a little bit earlier.
I'm just excited and ready to go. Wish you'd come here faster.
Wrestling Caleb Greer.
So that was Zach Young as he prepares to go up against Caleb Greer. 120-pounders prepared to hit the mat here momentarily.
The guys are about a minute away from that match, but interesting. Talk about Bremen in the open. They are locking horns right now. Talking about Anthony, that 4-peat that they're going for in 1A. They are getting all they can handle from Gordon Lee. And here's the interesting thing about how it unfolds here tonight. Gordon Lee, 4 finalists. Bremen, 4 finalists. You talk about deciding it on the mat. 10.5 points separate the two schools. Here's the first of 4 finalists for each schools. Bremen wants the 4-peat. It's right in front of them. Win and you keep your title. If you're Gordon Lee, you look for an upset somewhere tonight, and maybe this great run, Scotty, in 1A by Bremen is who would have saw that one coming here tonight if Gordon Lee can pull the upset.
Well, I'll tell you, if there's a guy who's happy right now, is Tony Armas, the coach of Bremen, because he's got one of his studs about ready to step on the mat right now in the 120 state finals. Zach Young is he's a 3-time state finalist. Excuse me. Now he's a 4-time state finalist because he's in the finals again this year. He's won state twice. He didn't win it last year. He lost in a last-second reversal. It was a great match, but he ended up second. He wants to redeem that. He wants to come back, be a 3-time state champ, go on and wrestle in college. great kid, great family. I joke with him a lot about being Georgia fans, but unfortunately his dad Chris and the whole family, they're a bunch of dedicated Alabama fans over there. But he's got a tough match in Caleb Greer, doesn't he, Joe?
Absolutely. Caleb Greer, the opponent tonight from Landmark Christian. He's just a sophomore, 35-4. When you say just a sophomore, already a returning state champion. Won it last year at 103. Of course, the weight classes have now shifted in high school wrestling. 103 no longer, as it is now 106 pounds. And here we go, guys. We are underway. 120 pounds. Our first look at 1A tonight. Zach Young from Bremen, Caleb Greer from Landmark Christian. And again, Bremen, they're involved in a big-time battle for that 1A team title here.
Zach Young working that front headlock. He's a wrestler. He just scored a takedown. I mean, he just scored a takedown right there with a white headgear on. Early lead for Bremen right there, Joe.
I'm going to say, what is that, Scott? A Blue Devil? I'm going to venture again. That is an in-your-face logo, man, on that singlet. It won't be easy or difficult to find out when Bremen's wrestling tonight. Take down there on program. Yeah, Greer from Landmark Christian. He's on bottom right now in the navy single with the gold accents. And right now, Zach Young, senior versus sophomore. And this is a match that Bremen desperately needs here at 1A.
I'll point out also these two guys wrestling on the Life University mat. Life University in its first year wrestling program, NAIA school, down there on mat 1. Also on mat 2, it's Bruton Parker College. That's also an NAIA school in its first year having a wrestling program. So those two schools in the state of Georgia.
And I tell you what, that's a great point, Anthony. Scotty, you talk about the growth of wrestling in this state. From an outsider looking in, with Team Georgia, our title sponsor, thanks so much to them. What they've been able to do, the grassroots of growing. I think they're adding. Every time I pick up a new wrestling magazine, there's 2 or 3 more NAIA small schools in the state of Georgia. I mean, wrestling really exploding in this state. And what a scene here tonight. That's great, man, to see 2 new colleges competing and really growing the sport at what the grassroots level is all about.
Well, Coach Brumelo down at Bruton Parker has decided that he wants to pick this talent right here from Georgia and build an incredible team. And he has gone out and just taken some absolutely studs out of the state of Georgia to build a great team down at Bruton Parker. So a lot of great things going on down there and other colleges around Georgia too. But you know what Coach Brumelo has done is said, we're going to stay within state. We're going to build a team right here.
That was a very workmanlike first period by Zach Young. Got the takedown. Scotty, you saw the replay there. He just grounded it out, guys. I mean, it looked like almost like a college wrestling match. They give you writing time in college how long you hold your opponent down. They, of course, don't do that in high school, but I know Zach Young told us in his interview he has aspirations to wrestle in college. He's got the blueprint there. That was a very tactical first period wrestled by the senior from Bremen High School.
He's got quite a few opportunities, too. Like I said, I know Zach and his dad really well, and we talk a lot back and forth, and he's got some opportunity, and I think he's going to end up making a great wrestler in college because of his style, because of his build and everything. He's going to make a great 125 once he decides which college he's going to go to.
Says he's going to decide in the next month where he wants to go and probably make his decision a little easier. He gets a win here tonight. He won't have to be stressing so much over it. As you saw the escape there now by Zach Young. 3-0 lead. And Scott, Caleb Greer, I mean, you say he's only a sophomore, but here's a guy who's already been under the big lights. He's been on the spotlight, on the center mat with a state title. Certainly not going to be intimidated here to battle back down 3.
No, when you can get that out of the way, nice arm drag right there. Did you see that? That was beautiful, beautiful. Very, very good. I mean, when you watch Zach Young move, his movement in motion, he's always looking for the next move, and it's never the same move. But yeah, I mean, Caleb Greer, hey, there's a lot of state championships ahead for Caleb Greer. If he doesn't get this one tonight, he's probably going to come back, be right back in the finals again next year. Big future for that young man as well.
Let me ask you guys, I mean, from an outsider's perspective, from a layman's point of view, we just saw a couple of 113-pound seniors battle it out in such a close match. Zach Young's a senior. He's clearly well ahead in this match. Caleb Greer, just a sophomore. Even though Caleb won a state title last year as a freshman, how much does experience factor in? The fact that Zach is a senior and maybe he knows a few more tricks to the trade.
It does. I mean, in my opinion, it factors in more as the weights go up, as you move up. If you have a young man who enters in, like what we're going to have later on tonight, if you have someone who enters in as a freshman over 135, well, we don't have 135, 138. If they enter over at 138 or higher as a freshman, it's going to be really, really tough. If they come out and win it at 138 or above as a freshman, they are very, very solid. They've got to be a full-grown young man coming in as a freshman. You agree, Joe? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, when we watched the semis last night, it was funny because that was the exact point we made as the weight classes got higher. And this is nothing uncommon with wrestling. Is boy, if you get to that 38, 45, 52 threshold, and you don't see a lot of FRs and SOs on the bracket, i.e., freshmen, sophomores, and certainly the playing field's a little more level at these lighter weights. But yeah, as the broadcast goes in, it's going to be an upperclassman-dominated field, no doubt. And occasionally, you'll get that freak athlete that breaks in, the three-sport, the football star, the track star, the wrestler. That's just an all-around stud athlete. But to Scott's point, definitely once we get older, it'll balance it out with upperclassmen.
Zach Young looking to take Bremen and then spread it right on out as far as team score here, 5-0. If he can hold on and get this, or maybe add 3 more to it, he can get a major out of it.
Now, Gordon Lee, again, with 4 finalists, but, Gordon Lee's going to have to basically be perfect and have Bremen stumble once or twice here. And obviously right now, that's not the case. Zach Young up 5. He's got 1:15 to go. And then there's definitely that aspect of it too, guys, for Zach Young. He's wrestling out there knowing, hey, I want to win for myself, but I have a direct hand in bringing a state championship back to my high school. Wrestling, a very unique sport, is that it's individual, but you also have that team component. It's not just football, but it's not just wrestling. It's it's somewhere in between. It's a great testament to what these guys do. That he can win individually. He can win 2 gold medals here tonight. Not a bad day's work. Pick up a couple of gold medals.
And Bremen did not win the state duels this year at 1A. So I'm sure the Bremen wrestlers set out to make a statement at this tournament.
Holy Innocents taking the state duels down in Macon. The Blue Devils seriously working on that 4-peat that Joe talked about a little bit earlier.
See that nice front headlock position there by Zach Young. You can't get yourself in much danger there. Not really going to score, but up 5. It's just trying to look busy, not get hit with stalling, not put yourself in any bad positions. Very heady wrestler Zach Young is here. Is just kind of saying, look, if you're going to beat me, go ahead, come and try and do it. And right now he has got the lead and wrestled a very smart tactical match here.
Zach Young down to the last 15 seconds right here to become a 3-time state champ for Bremen.
And an early statement here in the team standings in 1A as Bremen trying to hold off Gordon Lee. It's going to get a little bit of breathing room here as it is a 5-0 victory. Now they're going to give him a couple of points there at the end. Got a stalling call, I think, and then the takedown. 7-1 is how we're going to end it. And a big win here for Zach Young.
Big win for Zach Young and a big win for Bremen.
So a huge win for Bremen as we are closing in at the end of the first hour of competition here at the arena at Gwinnett Center. Stay put. The 126-pounders are coming up next here on WSB TV Channel 2. Are these 2 guys that we didn't talk to? Did we talk to Chandler?
No, we didn't talk to them. I went and got their bio.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello?
Hey.
Somebody's saying hello. Hey.
Hey, who do we have here?
Zach Young.
Hey, Zach Young.
Congratulations, man. Can you hear us okay?
Do what? Yes, sir,
okay?
I can.
All right. All right. We'll talk to you in 1 minute from commercial break, okay?
All right, yes, sir.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Take a breath.
Hey, buddy, congratulations to Scott.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Where's he at?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
He's got to be down there. Yeah, I see him. He's right there. Okay.
Well,
No, we hadn't gone yet. They just let him run off.
Yeah, they thought he was going to leave. They had to chase him back down.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done some bad interviews in my day, Anthony, but I don't know where that one would rank.
Yeah, hang on. We got to come back from break.
Welcome back to the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia. Anthony Amy here with Joe Miller and Scott McDonald, and we are joined by the 1A 120-pound state champion, Zach Young from Bremen High School. Zach, how does that sound?
It sounds great. Absolutely great.
What was the key to taking down Caleb Greer and doing so in such a decisive manner?
From the front head, you know, that's where I'm good at, and I get him right there and spin behind, get my two, and I try to do good on top, but yeah, it's whatever.
I know Joe Miller said that you fought a very tactical match. Was that your game plan coming in? Did you know that it was going to be pretty much all about what's above the shoulders?
Yes, sir. That's right. I knew from there that's where I was best at, and that's where I would score the most points.
Zach Young from Bremen High School, 120-pound Class 1A champion. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we move on to the 126-pounders here very shortly as Chandler Pike from Woodward Academy will face off against Madison Martin, a senior from Heritage Catoosa.
Let me tell you about this record right here. 74-11, Joe. 74-11 on the year. That's Chandler Pike. Got a 3.5, goes to private school, finished third last year at 112 pounds. He's the Area 5 champ. Wants to go to law school and take over his dad's law firm when he graduates. Said Lee Roper and training at the compound has been the greatest thing that's ever happened to him in his wrestling. So, hey, kudos to Lee Roper and the guys at the compound, what they do on a regular basis to help these kids out. But Joe, 85 matches this year.
That just makes me tired thinking about it, man. Is that Chandler Pike in the black singlet you see there? Front headlock counter by Madison Martin. Our first look, guys, at 3A. Madison Martin, fifth a year ago. And, you know, you talk about 70 plus wins is amazing. I would have traded anything for 56-4. That's Madison Martin's season. He's not even in the zip code of Chandler Pike here. Madison Martin from Heritage Catoosa. You know, we talk about our first 3A match, guys, and another team standing as here's Chandler Pike in on that low single, trying to switch off to that double and finish. You got Heritage Catoosa trying to hold off Gilmer.
You know, we had a real touching story here with Madison Martin.
There's the takedown.
You know, we sat down with him and didn't know until we sat down. We found out this young man's grandfather passed away this past Wednesday, and it was in the interview. I mean, you know, I know we were both in there together, and it got pretty emotional in there for a minute. You could tell that he was extremely close to his grandfather. He says his grandfather would be here with him in spirit, wrestling with him, and you know, we wish the family the best there, and I hate that they have to go through that. And, you know, it's tough on this young man to have to come back and do what he's doing right now, and we admire that.
Yeah, and Scott, he mentioned that certainly he feels his grandfather is looking down on him, and his grandfather must be proud. It's his first time as a finalist here at state, and to do so as a senior, I'm sure there's not a much better feeling to have, especially when again you're competing for a team championship as well, as Joe mentioned.
Chandler Pike in the red ankle band. He had the first takedown. You see the ankle bands around the wrestler's ankles. That'll determine the score in the upper left-hand portion of your screen. Pike wearing red in this match. Martin, the green wrestler, trailing 2-0. And as Anthony just alluded to, Heritage Catoosa, one of our better team matchups of the night in 3A with them and Gilmer, 12.5 points separating them. Heritage guys with 5 finalists, Gilmer 3, but they don't go head-to-head anywhere. That's crazy, Scott. You have 8 of the 14 finalists for one of these two schools, but yet neither one of them meet head-to-head. So it's really going to be who shows up in these next matches, who's going to win the 3A title.
I think if we had one head-to-head, we could probably go ahead and decide it.
Absolutely. Interesting. I mean, all across the board, outside of Jefferson, who's just done what they do best, winning it, before the tickets were printed a couple of weeks ago. I mean, everyone else, though, you're looking at some competitive team races here in 2012.
You know, Madison Martin was telling us also he wanted to go to Southern Illinois. Remember, wants to go play.
Wants to be a Saluki.
Yeah, wants to be a Saluki. So, You know, it's great that I love hearing these kids talk about the schools, and it's not just the local schools. When they want to go all over the country, you know, it just tells me that these kids are really focused on doing good in school.
I have to say, Joan Scott, Chandler Pike, just a sophomore, and up 2-0 in this match. We had spoken a moment ago in the previous match about experience and how that helps a certain grappler. In this case, you have a sophomore who's really taking it to the senior.
Yeah, this guy, I'm going to tell you, though, Anthony, this guy trains at a place called The Compound with Lee Roper and Cliff Fretwell. Lee Roper is a guy who he teaches you not just the wrestling, but he talks about the mental side of wrestling. He's got a lot of kids that he works with that are in the finals tonight. He really teaches and preaches the mental aspects of it. He's made a lot of these kids extremely hard to beat, even just not from the physical side of it, but the mental side of it. And, of course, Pike, you know, there's 2 Pike brothers. He's taken both of the Pike brothers under his wing, and he's done great things with both of them. So another product of that extracurricular wrestling over and above what you do at practice.
Pike, another one of those two, you know, had success as a freshman here in this building a year ago, taking 3rd at 112 pounds. So, again, not a finalist, but warming up, doing the 3 days of his state tournament. Nice kind of a test run. Here he is in the finals, leads at 2-0 as we are into this second period. Pike got that early takedown, and now there is the escape. First points of the night by the senior from Heritage Catoosa, 2-1. And now Martin just a takedown away, guys, from taking the lead on his side. I
think we're going to see another barn burner like we did at 113.
Also want to quickly remind you folks out there, if you want to buy a DVD of today's championship broadcast, you can go to GHSA.TV. Again, GHSA.TV if you'd like to purchase a copy of today's championship broadcast on DVD.
Beautiful slide by there by Pike. Got the 2-point takedown. Now a 4-1 lead. That's a statement takedown there, Scott. 10 seconds to go in the second period. Martin just gets the escape. He's got to feel like the momentum's back on his side. Wide open third period. Pike just drops the hammer with the slide by. Now he's going to take a 4-1 lead. All the momentum into the third period. Big time statement there by the sophomore.
Yeah, Martin's in a hole right here. He's really going to have to bring it this third period. And I'm not who has choice in this? Okay.
Now, Pike's gone neutral. Says, why risk it? I'm up 3. Why go down? I mean, this kid, you know, he wants to take over. He's a sophomore. He wants to be a lawyer. I mean, the kid's obviously smart. He's not going to go down, guys. Come on, he's up 3.
Right.
He could probably teach us a thing or two.
So is this almost the equivalent of the boxer who knows he's well ahead on the judges' scorecards, just sort of laying back, taking his jabs every so often, but just making sure he just stays out of the way of that right hand?
Exactly. Why put yourself in harm's way? You go down. You know, there's a chance you roll to your back, you get put to your back, you get near fall, you get pinned, you got the big lead again. He's had no stalling calls on him. He's wrestled a perfect match as Chandler Pike. Have your opponent come beat you on your feet. If you're going to beat me, let's go neutral and let's see what you got here for these final 2 minutes. Great call.
But when he takes that low single right there, too, you can really, you're working action, but you're burning up a lot of clock because, as you see, it took almost 26 seconds to get a stalemate call right there. So I look for Chandler Pike to go back to some of that. Back to right there, just like that, back to the single. He's trying to score, but he doesn't have to score, so he's not going to work as hard to score. Keep the action going, and that's where he's going to come right out the back door right here.
Pike in on that low single again. You see Martin trying to grapevine the arm there, maybe get a spladle of sorts and hook the leg, but easier said than done. As again, this has stalemate written all over it, and there is the call by the official. 44 seconds to go. I tell you guys, we're still early on, but what a clean finals we've been running here tonight. Not a lot of stalling, not a lot of penalty points, very few cautions. As there's the equivalent of the Hail Mary there by Martin. Tries the front headlock, gets caught. Pike's going to sit through. This is going to be a takedown in. I don't know if he did get at least a 2 count here, Scott. So I think this will do it. Martin's going to come out the back door and get the escape, but that's going to be a 2-2 situation. 6-1. Now make it 8-2 with 15 seconds to go. That'll all but do it.
See if he can swing that camera around and get that assistant coach right there with Woodward Academy.
And here he is going to put him to his back.
Got a kilt on.
And that'll do it. An emphatic finish to this one, guys. Chandler Pike, wow, just a sophomore. He's got a coach who wears a kilt. His dad's a lawyer. He's a sophomore. Everything's right in the world tonight with this young man.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, Joe, You'll hear no lip out of me on a guy that can wear a kilt, okay?
And we are going to talk to Chandler Pike momentarily.
There's the kilt.
There's the kilt guy. Not a little fella either.
Scott, that can be you next year.
Absolutely.
Bet you didn't think you'd see that, Anthony, when you enrolled for your first wrestling assignment, did you?
I had no idea what I was in for. We have Roddy Piper here.
Yeah, there you go.
I love to see those celebrations.
It's the greatest stuff right there.
I'll never forget mine. With my son, it was the best day that he and I ever had wrestling together.
Here you see that was really the last straw. Madison trying the equivalent of a wrestling Hail Mary, trying the front headlock lateral drop. Pike just stayed in great position, put him home with a takedown and some near fall. Textbook win, guys.
Chandler Pike is standing by and ready to go. Chandler Pike, just a sophomore, but now the 3A 126-pound state champion. Chandler, you said you want to be a lawyer when you grow up. It certainly seemed as if you stated your case today as far as what you were able to do on that mat. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What exactly was the difference in this match? Because it was one that you seemingly controlled from start to finish. What was your mindset coming in, facing a senior?
I just had to wrestle my tempo, my match, control it, take my shots. I'll be fine.
Scott McDonald mentioned that you gave tons of credit to Lee Roper and the training that he's provided you at the compound. Scott mentioned how Lee Roper teaches you guys about what to think in terms of mindset, how to think in terms of from shoulders up once you hit the mat. How much of a difference does he make, and how much of a difference did he make in you becoming a state champion?
He makes all the difference in the world. Practicing with him every weekend just makes all the difference.
Chandler Pike from Woodward Academy, now the 3A 126-pound state champion. Chandler, congratulations. Let's move on now to mat 2. It's Class 2A, 132-pound final between a couple of seniors, Isaac Kelly out of Jefferson and Brandon Owens from Elbert County.
Isaac Kelly comes in with a 170-17 record in high school. As a senior, got a 3.4 GPA, state champ 2010 and a runner-up in 2011. You know, his opponent right here, he's beat him at the area and the sectionals, but they've had great matches both times. Wants to go to Georgia Southern and pursue a degree in engineering. So on top of all that, Joe, this guy shoots in the mid-80s in golf. I don't even think you and I want to tee it up with this guy, huh?
Well, that's something to do once the season's over. As saw the near takedown there out of bounds. Brandon Owens, the senior, he's in the white singlet with the blue trim. Kelly from Jefferson. Boy, how about Jefferson, guys? We had our open in the team. I mean, it's just incredible what they've done. 12 straight for the team title. They have 9 finalists here tonight in 2A. This, of course, our first 2A match of the night. Isaac Kelly, you see the white single with the Jefferson across the front. I mean, Scott, you've obviously know as much, if not more, about Georgia wrestling in England. I mean, has there ever been a dynasty like we're in the midst of right now with Jefferson High School? 12 straight in 2A. Incredible.
No, I mean, they're on a run. They're nationally ranked right now, you know, in the top 40. They went to the Clash, finished top 10 in the Clash in Minnesota. You know, these guys are incredible. But in this match right here, Brandon Owens is a returning state champion himself. The good thing about this is you can always get better in this sport. As a freshman, this young man comes in 16-14 is his record. The next year, a little bit better than that, but then he comes in his junior year 52-3 and wins the state championship. Just shows you what a lot of hard work will get you over the next couple of years. So when you start young with these guys, they never give up. That's the thing about wrestlers. They'll never quit on you.
And he's got the lead right here. Well, he did momentarily, nearly a takedown there by Isaac Kelly. A 2-1 lead for Brandon Owens. A rematch, as Scotty mentioned. These two guys have been rivals all season long.
We got two of the finest referees in the state, too. We got Stephen Clayton, who was elected as Ref of the Year running this match, and his secondary ref backup is Roger Burkett, who is also another fantastic veteran himself. So two great guys watching two great competitors go at it here.
Final seconds tick off of this first period. No scoring again in this close match. Here's how important it is to score first. Normally you defer, but a lesson at home to all you youngsters watching, if it's 0-0 and you go into the second period, you always go down because that first point can make the difference, and very smartly there, Brandon Owens selects down, and he will work to extend his lead 2-1. He got the first takedown, maybe sets the tempo early, says, you know what, I've had enough of this guy beat me the last couple weeks, I'm going to draw first blood, and he does it here in the state finals.
Kelly throws the boots in right there, and of course Owens does the smart thing, brings the knees together and then works him out.
You know, Joe mentioned how the Jefferson Dragons have just been on this tremendous run. Think about it this way. The last time they did not win a traditional state wrestling title, Tom Brady had 0 rings. I mean, it's amazing. They've gone on this run since the turn of the century, the turn of the decade, in the early 2000s, and they just have not stopped.
Oh, nice. Very nice move.
Well, you see Hudson, or Owens rather, switching it up, and that's going to be a reversal and a 4-1 lead now for Brandon Owens, the senior from Elbert County. Very impressive performance. Boy, he seems, Scott, he had talk about to use a cheesy movie line from Rocky, the eye of the tiger, though. But boy, he came into our interview tonight. I mean, we interviewed 40 kids. I don't think anybody was more dialed in than this young man. He was focused, ready to go, knew the score, knew he had lost to his opponent twice. Very succinct, short answers. I mean, he's coming out ready to go here tonight.
Yeah, he was right on the mark. And, he talked about his brother being a drill partner for him. His brother Braxton, he says, he's always there. He's there for me all the time. He's a great drill partner for me. And I'm sure his brother is somewhere close by right now. So, great story with these kids right here.
I love the comment about the brother. He says he can always pick his brother's voice out of anybody. He says you can have 10,000 people that are here in the Gwinnett Center screaming. He says, I can always hear my brother. Doesn't matter how many people are yelling, I always have that connection with my brother. Great story.
Yep, great story.
Now he's dominated this match as Brandon Owens. He's led it wire to wire, 4-1. Now he's working for that tilt. See him trying to elevate the legs, go to that tight waist. Kelly gets out of it, but tell you what, Brandon Owens is going to take a 4-1 lead. Now we're going to have 2 seconds left here in this second period, but more than likely, it's going to be the third period, Scott, with Owens with a big lead. Probably didn't see this one coming.
Look, he tore his shoe off. The bottom of his shoe tore off.
And he looks to his coach. I mean, boy, what do you do there? I think the officials are saying, what do you do there?
Wrap it with tape.
That's why athletic tape was invented. Wow. Oh, there you go. Full service here at the state finals, huh?
Gotta love it. Just tape it up and keep going, huh?
Yeah.
Like my grandfather used to say, if it hurts, just rub some dirt on it, right? Just throw a piece of tape on it. You're fine. Get back out there.
Joe, if we were in Wisconsin, you guys would have duct tape out there, I'm sure.
I would rub some cheese on it or something up there.
There you go. Here we are, a couple seconds left. 4-1. Right now, Kelly's got his work cut out for him in this third period. Let's see what he does. I think he has choice. He's going to go down, see if he can make this a 4-2 match, and then the takedown will tie this thing up. But so far, he hasn't been able to come out after the reversal.
Well, we did see Owens with that nice kind of a modified switch, kind of duck under to the reversal. So, maybe if you're Isaac Kelly, you say, I need to get the reversal here, cut the lead to 1. Well, there's the escape. So we're neutral 4-2. And as Scotty mentioned, a takedown now ties it up.
Yeah, he's coming hard, but he's got to keep his head up, too. Yeah, he's got to come smart. He's got a lot of time here.
Boy, he's really working that fireman's carry, high crotch series.
Yeah.
Is Isaac Kelly, and we're out of bounds, back neutral, 1:32 to go. Good match here, fellas, at 138 pounds. This is 1, or 132 pounds. This is 1. Don't go grab the popcorn just yet. We might have a fantastic finish here.
Look at that.
Beautiful. Double leg, and he takes him right to his back. And that's going to be near fall. Wow. You see him swinging it off to that half Nelson.
Oh, you can't get him back in.
You see the 3 near fall. The back was out of bounds, so no near fall was counted. They couldn't call the pin. Let's take a look at it again. But before he went out of bounds, but Scott, this is just great hips, great power, explosiveness. See the double leg there. works his way up the body, sunk the half, gets the near fall, and that might do it. 9-2 with 1:07 left. Unbelievable.
Long way to come back. First thing Kelly's going to have to do is work to his feet, look for a big throw or something. That's the only way he can come back through this thing. Got to have a pin now.
Well, under a minute to go, and young Brandon Owens went from a sub-500 wrestler as a freshman to now a state champion here in dominating fashion. I mean, this is what it's kind of the theme, guys. We heard in all our interviews why so many of these guys say, what's your favorite sport? Wrestling. Well, why is it? Because it's just me. It's nobody else. Because I can set a goal, and no one's going to affect me getting my goal other than me. Here's a classic example. A young man never stepped foot on a wrestling mat 3 years ago, took his beatings, and now here he is, given a beating in the state finals. Great story here. Brandon Owens, 9-3, final 10 seconds ticking off.
10 seconds away from being a two-time state champion. What a story.
And impressive in that he's doing it against the former state champion. Totally dominant.
And that will do it. Brandon Owens, wow. A salute for the fans, and you think he's excited? Like Jim Valvano when they won. Who could he hug first? He wanted to hug somebody.
He had to do the chest pump with his brother.
Awesome emotion there from Brandon Owens, fellas.
Those never get old right there. They never get old.
Celebrations, absolutely genuine. Brandon Owens, state champion at the 132-pound mark in 2A. We'll be back with much more from the arena at Gwinnet Center. Live on WSB, you're watching the GHSA Traditional State Wrestling Championships presented by Team Georgia. Okay. Welcome back to the arena at Gwinnett Center. Live coverage of the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia. And you are looking right now at Chad Starnes from Alexander High School, 138-pounder. The 4A ranks, and he is going for his 4th straight state championship. Only 23 others have done it before. Chad Starnes going for his 4th straight. But right now, guys, we turn to the 5A ranks. 138 pounds, Ryan Mosley from Shiloh against Spencer Rickman from Collinsville.
This match right here will be wide open, guys. Ryan Mosley, 58-0, has not given up a takedown the entire year. Not one single takedown. Joe, you know how important it is not to give up a takedown, but, you know, 58-0 and no takedowns. I mean, you got to watch this guy's speed. He is phenomenal on his feet, and he's very familiar with the guys wrestling because they just went 3-1 last week as Mosley beat him, but this is going to be a great match.
Now, guys, I mean, you couldn't make up all these storylines if you tried in this one at 138 pounds. You talked about the rematch, 3-1 a week ago at sectionals. Spencer Rickman from Collinsville, state runner-up in 2010, state runner-up in 2011. You think this guy's ready to win a state title? On the other side, Ryan Mosley, I mean, to not give up a takedown is just unheard of. 58-0. Mosley was 30 a year ago at 130 pounds. I mean, this is as good as it gets. I mean, we've got some great matches, but this is as advertised, I think, here at 138 pounds, fellas.
Yeah, talking with Spencer Rickman, he's another one of those guys. I was really shocked at how many guys we interviewed today love Eminem. I mean, they were just going off on the Eminem thing,
Let me ask you guys, if you're Spencer Rickman, what's the mindset going in? Knowing, I would have to imagine he knows that his opponent hasn't surrendered a takedown all year. I would imagine he knows that Ryan Mosley is 58-0. What is his mindset going in to try and pull off an upset?
Exactly. Well, and to even go one further, that they wrestled a week ago and he didn't get the takedown. I think, you take valuable knowledge from that rematch. It's like the playoff adage, it's tough to beat the same team 2 or 3 times in a year in a row. I think that's what you're saying right now if you're the young man from Collins Hill, Spencer Rickman, saying, look, this guy just went through. I gave him 3-1. I probably gave him his closest match of the year. If anyone's going to beat him, if his time's ever ripe to fall, it's right now. I don't have to be better than him 100 times. I only have to be better than him once for 6 minutes, and that's how you look at it. Ryan Mosley might be one of the most talented on-his-feet wrestlers, Scott, maybe, who knows, in the state, but he doesn't have to be the best for 6 minutes. Just Spencer Rickman has to find one way to get the chink in the armor, get the takedown, and if you look at it that way, maybe you got a shot.
I almost think Rickman needs to work the opportunity he's going to get right here, top.
Yeah.
See if he can flatten him out. See if he can get some turn. Maybe a cheap near fall right here.
Now we go to our second period. Mosley goes down, and again, one of these close matches where that first point is so valuable. And right now, Spencer Rickman now he got the legs in. You can work some time off the clock and really beat on your opponent when you get that leg in.
Maybe looking for a cheap tilt, 2-on-1.
And the official will always stop that for potentially dangerous when you get to your feet with a leg in. We'll go back to referee position, 1:37 seconds to go in the second period. No score here. We're back on the 5A mat. Collins Hill, boy, they've had a parade of them here tonight. I think they've all but wrapped up the team race here. We just saw a young man win a moment ago, 132, and that should just about do it. So no pressure here for Rickman on the team side. I think he's just competing for that state title. And Scott, you've watched a lot more of these than I have. Can you imagine going 3 for 3 with second place? My heart would just break for Spencer Rickman.
Well, and Joe, it looked like Rickman was actually going to have 138 all to himself this year and wrap it up and not have any issues. 2 weeks before area for the region tournament rolled around, Mosley actually bumped from 132. He bumped up to 138. He went up a weight class to wrestle Spencer Rickman, which is almost unheard of. I mean, and there was a lot of people that said, Mosley has it wrapped up at 132. Why would he move up to 138? That's the way these competitors are. Sometimes they want to wrestle the best. They want to go against the best competition, and that's what you get. These matchups like this right here.
That is good stuff. Seeking out the competition is as good as it gets. Another one of those common threads we heard when we did the interviews today, guys, is some of these guys is look, they want to compete. They like being out on the island. They like having all the eyeballs watching them and saying, look, if I screw up, I screwed up. I'll take it like a man. And there's not a lot of people that can look in the mirror and say that. And these young men, some of these kids, 13, 14, 15 years old, incredible.
I also want to quickly remind all the folks out there, you don't have to miss a single one of today's matches. We're focusing right now on this particular match between Mosley and Rickman, but you don't have to miss a single match. We're streaming live all 5 mats featuring all 5 classifications at GHSA.tv. If you have to go away from your TV, you can also watch our live program at WSBTV.com.
Joe, we got the blood cleaned up, and we're 44 seconds away from riding Mosley out the whole period. That would be huge if Rickman can do that.
Oh, absolutely huge. And right now, Rickman, he's been doing it, Scott, with basically with that leg. He gets it in, and as you say, just working off time. He's not really never in any danger of turning Mosley. Nice mat return there, but there again, you see the left leg in. It's kind of like that annoying, fly around your head that you swat, it doesn't go away. That's what like having the leg is. You're not going to really do any damage, but it's annoying. It wears on you. Very smart maneuver here by Spencer Rickman. He just gets that leg in, and he's just chewing off clock here in this second period.
Oh,
but there it is.
19 seconds.
Ryan Mosley, first points of the night here at 138 pounds.
Uh-oh.
And And yes, he does get the takedown. Oh, boy. What a swing here, guys. Mosley's going to take a 3-0 lead now into the final period.
I used a boxing analogy early. It's almost like that late round flurry.
Yep.
That Mosley uses just to get.
Oh, there it is again, Scott. Look at the spin drill. Just, you know, the first thing you do the first day of little kids practice, you teach kids the footwork and the spin drill. He hit that to perfection. Beautiful.
I started to ask you guys, the longer the match went, how much it was favoring Rickman because it was so close and 0-0, and then all of a sudden, Mosley's able to get those 3 points right at the end of the second period.
And the escape itself is huge. Then you tack on the takedown. Wow.
That was a quick three. I thought he was going to get one, Joe, and just be happy to go into the third period, but he got that one, and he was looking for that takedown immediately.
And you know what's funny? I guarantee you Rickman was thinking he was happy with one, too. Never take your foot off the gas, even for that half second, saying, look, 1-0, I'll get the escape third period, we'll go neutral and win it with a takedown. Mosley says, you know what, here's an opening, boom, I'm going to grab it and get that takedown. Very smart wrestling by Ryan Mosley. And now we're going to get a stalling call on bottom.
Wow,
on
that
Rickman.
is huge.
And boy, things going from bad to worse for the junior from Collins Hill. But probably the right call. I mean, you got to improve your position on bottom. You get a certain amount of time to do it. And right now, Mosley, he's he's wearing him out on top here, and he gets the stalling call.
And a stalling call, just a warning the first time?
First time's a warning. Second, third one would be a point. Fourth one would be 2 points. If it gets to 5, which is rare but does happen, it would be a match disqualification. So, but the big one's the first one because the next one's points. And right now, obviously, Rickman cannot afford to give up any more points. 26 seconds to go, Scott. What's the play right now if you're Rickman? Well, I hate to interrupt, as our young man did number 4. Get to him in a second, because we have some blood time here, guys.
Yeah, we got a nosebleed on the 38 match on 5A, but what an incredible run Chad Starnes has had. He's never lost in this building, guys. He's come into this building 4 years in a row as the underdog, and he has never lost in this building. What a great story.
There it is.
From Alexander High School in Douglas County, Chad Starnes.
Here's the finish, guys. Just to cap it off. How about a takedown to end your career for
and
number 4?
Kid, Joe.
Oh, man.
I went out and interviewed him as well, and I know you did, Anthony, and just a classy kid. He likes everybody, wants to be liked by a lot of people. Just an absolute classy kid. Hopefully we can get him on screen there.
Spencer Rickman down to his final 20 seconds. He needs an escape and a takedown fast to try and put this thing in overtime. But Ryan Mosley, boy, he was third place a year ago in this building. Highly motivated to get up the award stand, and he's done it. Time is up. Ryan Mosley. Oh, boy, just took Dad down. Oh, boy, just took Dad down with a double leg. And now Coach is getting it.
Yeah,
I think Ryan's got another 6 minutes in him, fellas.
You know, Coach Helena right there, that's his first state champion at Shiloh High School since he's been at Shiloh. And long overdue for Dr. Helena. He's a great coach.
Yeah, even Mr. Mosley, even Dad couldn't handle Ryan today. Unbelievable.
Wow.
You know, guys, we won't lose sight. Spencer Rickman is a phenomenal athlete and a great wrestler. What a good match these two have had. You know, Rickman's a 3-time state finalist now. Hopefully he bounces back next year and he can get that elusive state title.
I hope Dad's okay. I mean, that was that's like hitting the tackling dummy the first day of football practice. He lit Dad up.
Well, it looked like Jim Brown running over somebody for the old Cleveland Browns.
Oh, here we go. Check it out. Here's Dad. Boom!
That is classic right there.
Highlight of the night right there, fellas.
And Mom loves it. She's not even worried about the safety of her husband.
I'm sure that Dad's feeling no pain right now. That is good stuff.
Your state champion in class
138 pounds, 5A, Ryan Mosley, third a year ago, state champion. And it really, Scott, and Anthony came down to that 9 seconds. He scored all the points in the match in 9 seconds.
All right, we move on now to the 145-pound class. 3A, Logan Perkins of Heritage Catoosa facing off against Taylor Lujan out of Carrollton.
Freshman versus senior. Taylor Lujan, a freshman, 49-0 as a freshman. You know, come in. He actually beat Perkins last week by 8 points. So this is going to be a great match right here, Joe. I'm kind of looking forward to this one. Heritage Catoosa, here we are again. They've got to have a win to help keep that lead over Gilmer. Got to have it.
And a quick takedown there by the freshman Lujan over Logan Perkins, the senior from Heritage Catoosa.
Logan Perkins actually called this his last hurrah. I mean, he knows obviously he's a senior, his last chance at winning a state championship. Simply called it his last hurrah when we talked to him earlier.
You know, it's great. It's great when wrestling's in the blood and the family and everything. Logan Perkins is actually dating a referee's daughter. I guess that's the way you get on the ref's good side, huh?
The escape, so we're neutral 2-1, a minute to go, and Heritage Catoosa with that slim 12-point lead over Gilmer. So this is a big match on the team side of things. There's another takedown. Now they're going to say we're out of bounds neutral, 4-2, and
this Lujan kid is slick as a freshman.
I mean, a freshman wrestled 145 in the state finals. Unbelievable.
Watch his position, Joe. Check his elbows in his position. Hand position's great. He's right in front of you. Good motion.
See that overhook position there by Lujan. Trying to step the hips in, maybe work for a throw, and he does it. Wow. Step through. Kind of out-kick the coverage there, though, guys, as Perkins able to roll out the back, and maybe he's going to counter with a score.
I don't know, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Lujan does a little bit of freestyle and Greco.
He definitely, a lot of guys don't want to be there, that upper body position. He wanted to be there. This was.
We're going into a cradle now.
Oh, suicide cradle. Boy, Lujan, he's put on all the bags, everything in his bag of tricks here tonight.
You know, it's funny. We wanted to interview this kid. Remember, he ran from the camera. Didn't want to be interviewed. Scared to death of the camera. So obviously he's not shy when he laces them up and steps on the line right there. But didn't want to have nothing to do with the camera. Maybe we'll get him after this match.
You know, speaking of not shy, Logan Perkins, the senior, not shy when it comes to extracurriculars, because in addition to his skill out here on the mat, he's also a cheerleader. He told us that he's been cheerleading since the summer, and a friend invited him to practice, decided to go ahead and compete, and he's been competing ever since the summer. So Logan Perkins, not exactly your standard wrestler / cheerleader, but he says that the balance from cheerleading is somewhat similar to wrestling.
Yeah, I think he shocked the room when he told us the cheerleading thing.
Every mouth dropped.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did also mention that there was a lot of pretty girls on his cheerleading team. So
he did say there were benefits to the job. Yeah.
Yes. Full disclosure, yes. He was maybe an agenda there.
Yes.
6-2 is Perkins trailing here in the second period, guys. You see him with that leg rise, got both legs in. Boy, this Lujan, how about this guy? Freshman. He's going upper body in the first period of the state finals and connected with that hip toss. Unbelievable.
That was a great throw. I'd like to see him settle and slow it down a little bit. He would have probably either got a pin or a lot of back points out of it.
Now there's the escape. Now 7-2 for the freshman from Carrollton.
I know you guys have covered a number of freshmen that have been victorious, certainly last year, also this year, but how difficult is it to come into a building where you have 10,000 people here at the arena at Gwinnett Center, so many people, so much pressure, and yet you come out victorious? Is it almost a case where you don't feel pressure? You're so young, you kind of forget where you are? Is that more or less what maybe this young man is feeling, Tyler Lujan?
I think sometimes you have that. You have it to the point that they realize where they're at and what's going on. They just don't really get caught up in the pressure of everybody, because a lot of these kids have been wrestling since they were 7, 8, 9 years old. But when they get to this arena right here, you know, they're already groomed and ready to go at that level, you know, because they'll go out west, you know, to the Midwest Nationals and things like that. You get them so used to it from a young age, but
Well, the records too is you've been around a junior senior. XYZ wrestler has this record, or he beat him and he beat him, and I don't know if I can match up with him. Well, when you're a freshman, it's all new to you. The experience is new, and it's that reckless abandonment. And, they don't know better. You should be more nervous than you are, but incredible feat. Anytime a freshman makes the state finals at any weight class, it's really something special to do.
Taylor Lujan showing right now that experience not necessary at all times. Certainly not in this particular matches. He is well ahead and on his way to a state championship as a freshman.
Yeah, we're going to the third period. Lujan, he's going to go top. Now, Scott, how many times in the state finals, in any big match, do you see the wrestler take top? What does that tell you about what Taylor Lujan thinks of his, and his coaches think of his abilities from top?
He must have a lot of riding ability right there to do that.
Wow. I mean, that's, most times you say down, you're conceding a point by going down. So not only is he saying, not only am I not going to give him the point, I'm taking my choice and using it to go on top and give up basically it's a 2-point swing by him going on top. So obviously pretty confident with being on top is Taylor Lujan.
He's working that punishing power half earlier too. Stalemated that. Yeah, I mean, to do that, like you said, Joe, to go out there and take top when you have the choice and you've already got a lead, that speaks volumes of what you can do. Anthony, you talked about something earlier, winning it as a freshman. Mm-hmm. Once you have a kid that wins it as a freshman, there's always talk, is he going to be a four-timer? So looking at this young man coming in at 145 pounds as a freshman, if he holds on to win this match right here, there has to be some talk on this young man coming in and hopefully pulling out as a four-timer as well.
But does that create even more pressure, or do you say, you know what, he's shown that he's immune to the pressure, so we can feel free to and comfortable talking about it?
That's when the pressure actually starts, is once they start, getting it from everybody, hey, you're going to be a four-timer, you're going to be this. Then there's somewhat of a letdown if you don't make it. If you do lose a match or whatever, there's a little bit of a letdown. So,
well, obviously Lujan guys knew what he was doing when he chose top. He's ridden his opponent here, Logan Perkins, for well over a minute and a half coming up on this third period. And again, it's all been done with the leg riding, Scott. And again, not a move where you're necessarily going to score, but you're going to really punish your opponent. You're going to work time. And I don't know if you realize this for the folks watching at home. That's 145 pounds you're carrying on your back, and you have an elbow in the middle of your neck. I mean, it's not fun. I mean, I'm telling you, it's not fun. So, I mean, if he might not score, but well, now he's going to score as he jumps over to that half Nelson and gets a quick 2 count. That's going to be near full for Lujan.
That's right. That was a smooth transition, the way he moved right into it. Very, very, very nice transition.
Taylor Lujan can feel it now. He is down to the final few seconds. Just a freshman. There's the Hail Mary attempt. The headlock by Perkins isn't going to do it. Wow. 10-4. Wire to wire, this freshman, guys. One of the more impressive wrestlers I'd say we've seen here tonight.
What a performance by the freshman right here. Takes him to 50-0 on the year.
So Taylor Lujan from Carrollton High School, just a freshman, and now the 3A 145-pound champion, disposing of Logan Perkins out of Heritage Catoosa. I want to take this quick moment to remind you that we will be with you here on WSB TV until the top of the hour, and then we will shift over to MeTV. So for those of you with Comcast, it's channel 248. For those of you Charter cable subscribers, it's channel 126. All right, we will be back in just a moment. Back at the arena at Gwinnet Center, 152-pounders are on the way. You're watching the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championship. Stay tuned.
A gigantic upset. I mean, huge.
So we'll have Taylor. We'll have the freshman Taylor Lujan. Taylor, can you hear me? Taylor Lujan, can you hear me? I know it's loud in here, but can you hear me, Taylor?
I can't hear you.
There you go.
Taylor, can you hear us?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
We're going to, we're in commercial right now. We'll talk to you for a quick second once we come back from commercial in approximately a minute, okay?
Yes, sir.
So you have a little bit of time to catch your breath.
Scotty, here's your challenge match right here.
Welcome back to the arena at Gwinnett Center. Anthony Amy, Joe Miller, Scott McDonald here for the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships. And Taylor Lujan just won the 3A 145-pound state championship. Taylor, congratulations. We were over here marveling at the fact that it seems as if you felt no pressure at all as a freshman coming in here. What were your feelings throughout the match?
I didn't really feel any pressure. It's only my freshman year. It's his senior year, so I didn't really feel any. I thought he did.
You say that so matter-of-factly, but did you sense the pressure coming from him? I mean, is that something that you immediately jumped on?
In the beginning of the match I did, and towards the end, but that's about it.
Taylor Lujan, Carrollton High School.
Taylor, let me ask you a quick question. Scott McDonald here. Do you wrestle freestyle and Greco in the summer?
Yes, sir.
I noticed that, Joe. I told you I could tell a thrower when I saw one. Hey, buddy, congratulations, and don't be scared of that camera next time. You need to come see us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the 152-pounders now. 1A, 152 pounds, Trent Reddish from Commerce High School taking on the man, Spencer Jones from Darlington High School. Looking to match Mr. Starnes, looking to match Chad Starnes as a 4-time state champion. Here we are from Mat 1.
Spencer.
Oh, and he's not wasting any time,
Spencer
Scotty.
Jones is going to come out here and make a statement early. He
Oh,
wants
my
4,
goodness.
and he ain't taking no chances right here. He wants 4, and he's going right at it. Joe, we better keep up right here because this kid right here, he wants 4.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give, let's take a look at this again. I'll give Trent Reddish, wow, look at the hip extension. I'll give Trent Reddish some credit. Look at this. I thought it was over right there. I thought we were going to have about a 10-second fall in the state finals. And Spencer Jones from Darlington going for number 4, maybe the best hip extension you'll ever see. Gets the 2 takedown, the 2 near fall. He's up 4-0, 30 seconds in.
Yeah, Jones is really, really slick on his feet, too. He's one of those kids, he's coming all the time. I mean, he's always working an angle.
We mentioned only 23 others had won 4 straight state titles before Chad Starnes of Alexander High School did it earlier this evening. As part of the 4A 138-pound ranks, Spencer Jones trying to join him and become the 25th person ever to win 4 straight state titles. The last 2 to do it, both in 09, Brian Benton of Toombs and Brandon Westerman of McEacher.
Yeah, Spencer Jones, 2009, 135-pound state champ. 2010, 140-pound state champ. 2011, 145. Here he is at 152, making the gradual moves up. Says he's weighing his options right now on college plans, not sure what he wants to do.
And again, guys, this is really the theme of the night of the broadcast. Trent Reddish, freshman in the state finals. What is going on here in 2012, Scotty? I mean, I guess the pantry is full. We're going to have a lot of good years of state finals to follow because certainly there's not a lack of talent with all these youngsters and what they've been able to do here in 2012. Incredible.
Makes us feel good knowing that we've got that kind of talent to pick from for the next 4 years. There he is, Spencer Jones getting a takedown, but now it looks like it's going to be reversed out or either a switch.
Oh, that was a nice effort, though, by Trent Reddish. What are they? They're going to give him an escape.
Yeah, 6-2.
Lucky not to get the reversal there was Jones. I mean, you see Jones there. There's your takedown. Might have been a quick call on the takedown, but then a very nice counter by Reddish. He does get the escape, so we're 6-2 neutral, ending of the first period. But boy, Reddish kind of rebounded nicely, Scott. He got taken down to his back 5 seconds into the match, and yet here he is 6-2. So he went even for about a minute 50 after he got down 4-0, 10 seconds in. Still in the match. He's just got to slow Jones down. He's got to slow some of that speed down from Jones in the neutral position. Now we get to see Jones work from the bottom position. Caution. False start.
Let me quickly ask you guys. Jones has gone from 135 to 140 to 145 pounds, now wrestling at 152 pounds. How difficult is that as you put on weight as you progress throughout your high school career, or is it difficult?
Well, just to answer that quickly, Anthony, we got a kid wrestling in 5A who's wrestling in the state finals right now in 5A, Austin Trott. He's a 4-time state finalist, 2-time state champion, going for his third now. He started at 103. Wow. He went from 103 to 130 to 140, and now he's at 152. That's a big jump right there, and to be successful. It's hard as long as you can put the size on in a good way, being the strength or the length. One of those two they have to work out, to be competitive in those weight classes as you move up that high.
Nice reversal there by Jones, guys. Now 8-2, and then tack on a stalling point. 9-2, a reverse or a near fall. So all of a sudden, Scott, Spencer Jones, he's raining points down here. Looked for a while like Reddish was going to maybe even things up or play him even. And Jones says, I don't think so. He's just exploded for points here in this second period. Now up 11-3 as we're neutral. Still a minute to go in the period. Jones already with 5 in this period to go with the 6 he scored the period before.
Yeah, he's turning it on right now. Not at the moment, but he knows he's got a lead. I think he's going to do some defensive wrestling now, Joe. I think he's going to make Reddish come at him, because he knows it's going to take something catastrophic for him to lose right now at 11-3. There he goes. Nice. In and out. Keep the ref off your back with a little bit of movement. No stalling calls.
Well, both these teams, guys, in the top 10 in the 1A team standings. Darlington heading into the finals at 9, Commerce at 4. So you always want that top 10 and work your way up the seedings as Bremen and Gordon Lee. We talked about the top 2 dogs in 1A, but here's 2 programs that kind of on that fringe, looking to make that next step, building off a state title here perhaps for one of them.
Let me ask you, if you're Trent Reddish, if you are the freshman, this is another one of those freshman senior matchups against someone like Spencer Jones. What do you learn if you're Trent Reddish? What do you take from this in the years to come so that you're on the positive side and hopefully one day doing what Spencer Jones will do, and that's winning another state championship?
One of the, probably not, just isolated to wrestling, but any sport, but certainly this is applicable in wrestling, is, you never learn from a win. You only learn from a loss, because you go back and you think, what did I do wrong? What did he do right? And, you never learn better than when live bullets are flying. And, if I'm Trent Reddish, I say, look, win or lose tonight, I just got to wrestle one of the greatest wrestlers in the history of Georgia wrestling. So the learning, this is called literally job training right here on the fly, on the mat. And he's going to end it with a pin, Scott.
Congratulations,
what a way to do it.
Great kid. What a way to finish your high school career. You go out with a pin.
Here you go. Just stepped right over him. That's just a good old-fashioned half Nelson, trap the arm. Nothing fancy, but it got it done.
Great kid, great story. 4-timer. You love to pull for those kids like that,
So Spencer Jones becomes the 25th young man in state history to win 4 straight state titles. Keep it right here, everybody. You're watching the 2012 GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia on WSB. My headset for a second. Yep.
because we got some downtime here.
Spencer Jones first.
Okay. Because I can stand up, we can do it off of that camera or the swing.
They're asking if we want to see the finish to what just took place on mat 5 before Spencer Jones, or no? From the 152-pound? No.
Do Spencer
We'll just go right to Spencer.
Yeah, do Spencer first.
All right. Okay. I'm going to back out after we interview Spencer, after we toss to the next match. Scott wants to interview Matt Moody, who pulled off an upset earlier. So as soon as I toss to the next match, I'll back out real quick.
Give him my headset, and I'll take yours. Do I give Matt my headset?
Okay. They're conversing.
Okay. Because if so, I'll give him my headset and I'll take yours.
Spencer Jones first. Welcome back to the arena at Gwinnett Center. Spencer Jones just made history in this building. Spencer, my partner Joe Miller said it best perhaps as you capped off one of the great careers in the history of this state, a 4-time state champion. Is there any way to express what you're feeling right now?
Not really. I'm blessed. I couldn't be here without God, and I'm just very thankful that He's blessed me with these talents, and just goes to show you He can do great things.
When do you think it'll hit you what exactly you've accomplished?
Probably tomorrow when I wake up. I can't really believe it right now, but it feels great, but I think it'll feel a lot better in the morning.
Was it actually part of the game plan to go up and just pretty much take out any confidence that Trent Reddish had immediately? Was that part of it?
Yeah, my plan was to go out there and take them right off the bat and just break them early and get a pin, and that's what I did, so it all worked out pretty good.
Spencer Jones, 4-time state wrestling champion. Congratulations to you. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's move on now to the 4A 160-pound matchup. On mat 4, it's Hunter Gamble out of Union Grove. And it'll be Billy Meek, a junior out of Pope. So the 160-pound division is what will be coming up next here on the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia here on WSB. Again, we remind you at the top of the hour we will shift over to MeTV. And here on WSB, you will get Channel 2 Action News at 6. And right now, the 160-pound match is underway. 4A class, Hunter Gamble and Billy Meek. Here's Joe Miller and Scott McDonald.
Billy Meek's a unique story. Broke his ankle last year. Couldn't make it to area. Couldn't make it to sectionals. Year before that, he finished 3rd. Here he is. Father was 2nd at junior nationals. He started wrestling in the 1st grade. He's right in here right now. Hunter Gamble's going to give him everything he needs, though, Joe. Another kid trained by Lee Roper in the compound.
Yeah, Hunter Gamble of Union Grove in the maroon and silver singlet. You see him in there on the shot. Billy Meek from Pope with the blue and silver singlet. Good action here from both these guys, both with early scoring chances. And now here's Hunter Gamble trying to get that Oklahoma, and he's got it. Got his hands behind the elbows, and that's a 2-point takedown. And Hunter Gamble, Scott, kind of a unusual way of getting it done, but he does get it done in a 2-point takedown and an early lead for the senior from Union Grove High School.
Facing off against the junior Billy Meek out of Pope, who broke his ankle last year, was unable to get to the finals, but back this year after suffering such a catastrophic injury.
Here's the escape.
In a 2-0 hole.
There's the escape guys, so it's 2-1 now. A lot of action. You just get the sense, Scott and Anthony, this is going to be one of those like 9-8, 10-9 back and forth battles. Just these guys are not playing conservative. They're not doing a feeling out first period of you try this. I mean, they're just going right now, and usually that tends to lead to points. So if this early start is any indication, we could have a wild one here.
Well, these 2 guys right here, Joe, these are the guys I was talking about. If we're going to have blood, it's going to be these 2 guys, because these guys right here, they know nothing but straightforward, in-your-face wrestling. I mean, they're both going to be bringing it at each other wide open for 6 full minutes.
You know the best thing, too, about all our interviews? Favorite stat line of these guys, Hunter Gamble. You asked him what his GPA was, 4.07.
Yes.
State championship wrestler, great student, and he was a heck of a kid, too. He was breaking up Scotty with the jokes. So, I mean, an all-around pretty good kid, Hunter Gamble. He's got the lead right now, 2-1.
Yeah, I've known this kid for a very long time. He, when he first came into the high school, he wrestled. My son was a senior, and he was a freshman, and I got to watch him wrestle. And I'll tell you, I can only say this because he's a good kid and he's a good friend and everything. He was horrible. He came in, and he wasn't horrible, but Hunter came in, and he wasn't the most athletic or talented kid, but I'll tell you, he's worked so hard to be a 2-time state runner-up, and then here he is again trying to make sure this time he's not a runner-up, he's a state champ. You know, he wants to go wrestle at University of Virginia, UTC, or Gardner-Webb. He really says if he could go anywhere, he wants to go to Virginia big time, and you know, his parents are great people. I know them very well, too. So just a great story to great kid.
Scott, you said it. If there was going to be blood in us in any match, and there we go.
Here we go. We got the blood. Hey, I think I'm batting 1,000 right now, okay?
They don't call him Dr. Truth for nothing, man.
That's right.
You got to deliver to get a nickname like that.
I will say this, though. Billy Meek, he's down in this match, but he scared me in our meeting.
I saw that.
That
made
guy,
that comment.
He was just focused on this match for hours.
Yeah, I saw it. I remember you saying that. You said, you're going to beat somebody up. I could tell before the night's over, you're going to beat somebody up.
Well, and guys, on the flip side, you talked about Scotty, how when Hunter Gamble came in the first day of practice, had a lot to learn. Billy Meek might be the exact opposite. Started wrestling at 2nd grade. This guy, it's in his DNA. You mentioned the dad and the great career that his dad had. I mean, he's been, from the word go, he has been bred for this, and here he is in a battle in the state finals.
Yeah, he's a tough kid. I mean, wide open, you know, goes to Brecksville, Ohio Christmas Classic, you know, the oldest tournament in Ohio, finishes 2nd, makes it to the finals. Just a great kid and a good story. This should be a good match. Oh, here we go. Reversal or escape?
Yeah, we're neutral.
Gave
him the escape. That's probably the right call. So 2-2. And again, it's 2-2, Anthony, but it feels like it's about 1916 right now. I mean, these guys are just battling with nothing left on the line. I mean, they're just going
nonstop. And a couple of the guys we talked to mentioned how they play football and they also wrestle. And one football player in particular said that the difference between football shape and wrestling shape is like you wouldn't believe. He thought he was in shape when he was playing football. He said it was nothing compared to what he has to be in, what shape he has to be in order to wrestle and wrestle effectively.
Yeah, and that's a common theme in our interview process here the last 2 days. That's certainly been a common thread. Obviously, a lot of great football players in this building, in this tournament tonight. And the one thing they say is, boy, once football season ends and wrestling starts, now I really got to get in shape because it's a way different. You use different muscles, you use different technique. It'd be not to say that football players aren't in great shape, but the muscle memory and the explosiveness, the different kinds of positions you put your body in, it's an incredible challenge. I mean, I've been doing it for 30 years, and every day, the first day of practice, I walk out there, I didn't even realize I had a muscle on the top of my foot or on my fingernail. I mean, it's like you get sore in places you didn't even know existed once you start wrestling. It's incredible.
As a matter of fact, some famous football players that our audience might know that used to be wrestlers, Ray Lewis, Roddy White of the Atlanta Falcons. Both of those guys are former wrestlers. Ronnie Lott, the Hall of Famer. Jonathan Ogden, a future Hall of Famer. So all of those guys are able to use their skills in wrestling, and they applied it to become great football players.
Here's a stalling call now on Gamble.
Ricky Williams, that's right.
Stalling call. So keep an eye on that one. Now he goes from a stalling call. I think that must have woken him up, guys, because now he's in on the shot like instantaneously after he got hit for stalling. But the out of bounds is going to bail out Billy Meek here.
6 seconds left on the clock right here. We're going to see a quick shot or just going to hold off to the third period. Who has choice in the third period, Joe? Do you remember?
It is going to be Gamble after Meek got the escape in the second period. So Gamble with the chance to regain the lead here, 2-2. And we're going to have more blood time. Keep in mind, Gamble's been hit for something. Yeah, back to your point, Anthony, on the the football thing. Roddy White, Atlanta Falcon, 3-time state champion, and he's very active. Had a chance to talk to him in the offseason with USA Wrestling, which is the amateur governing body for wrestling in the country. And Roddy White, a big wrestling supporter. And it's funny when you think about, I can't believe he did that. But yeah, Ray Lewis is another one, huge wrestling supporter. And it's always funny in the different walks of life where you meet people. And, oh yeah, I was a wrestler. And right here in one of your guys' studs, right downtown. That's right.
Gamble's got to get the escape right here. Take the lead on Meek. Meek's going to work hard on top, especially on that power half.
So what goes through the mind of someone in this position right now, tied to final 2 minutes for a state championship? Do you even think at this point, or are you just all instinct?
Well, you're trying to make sure you make the right move because you only need 1 point right now. If you're in a situation where you're down by 5, you're looking for a throw or something big like that. In Hunter's situation, he's only down. He's not even down. He's tied right now. He knows he only needs an escape. So you may see him hold a lot of energy until the end of the match.
Well, and to that point, there is certainly strategy in wrestling. You think, oh, it's wrestling. These guys are just go out there. It's gladiator sport. But there's definitely a strategy of how you score, when you score, if you go top, if you go bottom. So there's certainly a strategy involved in this sport. As right now, Meek, he's in some trouble. Oh, we're going to get a potentially dangerous. And Meek, I'm telling you what, guys, Gamble was about a half a centimeter from his back going over, but the potentially dangerous stops it. We're back to referee's position.
We got a minute left, Joe. We're down to 1 minute.
And again, Billy Meek right again to that potentially dangerous. Guys, we've seen so many close calls with overtime tonight, but we have yet to see the overtime. Here we go, 46 seconds. Are we heading to our first sudden death of the night? I'm surprised at how impressive Billy Meek has been here in this top position. Gamble's been out 4 or 5 times, and every time Meek has an answer. And again, the legs are back in. 30 seconds to go in this third period. We could be looking at our first extra session of these championships in 4A or any.
No OT yet, Joe.
That's right. Meek's, he's a little out of position, but he can, I think, hang on there for 10 seconds. He's not looking to score right now, guys. He's looking to get it into overtime. And I got to tell you what, this is an impressive third period by Billy Meek. All the momentum now squarely on the shoulders of the wrestler from Pope High School after he rides out his opponent for that entire third period. Here you go. If you're new to wrestling, sudden death, 1 period. Takedown wins it, and that's it. If there is no takedown, there's a series of other periods we'll explain as we go. But here's the bottom line. You get a takedown here, fellas, you're a state champ.
Billy Meek had a lot of pressure on Hunter Gamble's head and his neck right there, too. So, we'll see if that's going to take effect on him. See if Gamble can regroup, get the cobwebs knocked out from being rode out for that period.
48 seconds to go in this first overtime. Again, if there's no points scored here, we'll go to a double and perhaps triple overtime. But first things first, this 60-second period, there's a shot by Gamble.
Gamble, two-time state runner-up, trying to make it a state championship as he leaves high school. 27 seconds left.
And if there isn't a score in this next 27 seconds, guys, now will come into play who scored first. We talked about that a couple of times tonight in close matches. It was Gamble, so he would have the advantage going into this double overtime if it remains 2-2.
Joe, that's a question. Does he take bottom or top?
Exactly. He's been ridden out.
He was ridden out for the period.
He might want to take top. That's a great point. All right, here we go. So it's double overtime.
We're down to 4 seconds.
All right, we got 4 seconds. I don't think anyone's going to take a shot here. So, yeah, we're going to double overtime. First, it'll be a coin flip. And now here's Scott. Great question. What do? You've been ridden out. Do you go top here?
All right.
He's going to go top.
Well, he actually deferred.
Did he defer it?
He deferred it off to Meek, and Meek took bottom. So he's going to see if he can ride him out for a period.
Oh,
a lot of pressure.
Careful here.
Doesn't want to get too high.
Surprised they didn't call that one for potentially dangerous.
Uh-oh.
And he's still got that leg.
He's still holding the leg.
Gamble hanging on to that leg. Can he hang on for 2 more seconds?
1.
And unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
By the shoelaces, Anthony literally puts it into the next period.
And he's going to take bottom. Hunter's going to take bottom after being ridden out for the period.
Well, here it is. If Hunter Gamble, and we're going to have some injury or blood time here. Look at this. I mean, what's he got him there? By the tongue of the shoe? Incredible. That close to a state championship for Billy Meek. And now here it is, guys. 30 seconds. If Hunter Gamble gets away, he's the state champion. If Billy Meek holds him down, we go to another 30-second period. But here it is right now. Nothing simpler than this. If you're Hunter Gamble, you get away, you got the gold medal.
You got to give it all right here. And this kid is so mentally sound as far as a wrestler goes. He's been trained by Roper as well on the mental side of this game. I promise you, mentally, he's ready for this right here. I don't think his mom is. Sherry, I can see her in the corner over there. I promise you, Sherry is shaking pretty bad over there right now. His dad, Dave, he looks pretty calm. Dave looks pretty calm right now, though.
Here we go, 30 seconds. Can Hunter Gamble get away and get a state title, or do we go to another period? Gamble to his feet.
He's almost clear.
And a similar situation in the last period. Now can Meek hang on? And there's the escape.
There's the escape.
Oh, boy.
Hunter Gamble gets his state championship. It ain't over yet. He's got 11 seconds left.
He's got 11 seconds to get the takedown.
Looking for a throw.
And
Gamble's going to get a takedown now.
There's the two-pointer, and there it is. Hunter Gamble. What a match, guys. Double overtime at 160 pounds. Maybe the match of the night. Great stuff.
So Hunter Gamble, your 2012 state champion after finishing as the runner-up in back-to-back years. Congratulations, Hunter Gamble, out of Union Grove High School. All right, guys, as we prepare to go to break right now, we give all of our viewers just a quick word from a guy who was a former high school wrestler in his native Nebraska. He's the chairman of Team Georgia, Anthony Flash.
Team Georgia Wrestling is the national governing body for wrestling for the state of Georgia. We're part of the U.S. Olympic program, part of USA Wrestling, and we grow wrestling from 4 or 5 years old all the way up through college. We support high school wrestling through GHSA during the folk style season, and we also support wrestling through USA Team Georgia in the spring and summer, so those kids that want to continue to wrestle have an opportunity to continue to wrestle outside the GHSA season. 75% of all the wrestlers that place at this tournament traditionally have been part of the USA Wrestling program at some point in time during their career. So we're really helping build wrestlers that can then continue to wrestle in high school and hopefully go on to wrestle in college. A few years ago, the high school wrestling championships were not on TV at all, and the folks that couldn't be here at the arena just had no ability to watch any of those matches at all. 2 years ago, Team Georgia got involved, and we're now sponsoring putting high school wrestling on TV, and we want to continue to expand that. Well, Team Georgia Wrestling is an all-volunteer organization. We have no paid employees, we have no staff or building. We're all volunteers. So if we can get more volunteers, that's how we're going to grow. We need funds, we need volunteers. So all of Team Georgia's information is found on teamgeorgiawrestling.com. And that will include all of our youth wrestling, as well as middle school, high school, and college wrestling. All that information is on teamgeorgiawrestling.com.
Freshman 170 going for a state championship. This is the, What's that? I don't know. We might can. Yeah, we'll get this one in. Why are they starting the other 70 matches and they've held this one? They held this one just for TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
God gave it the okay. He started pulling the trigger.
Okay.
This is getting all over him tonight. Hunter hit him with a headlock to his back and he scrambled out and didn't get scored on.
Who?
This got hit with a headlock to his back and didn't get scored on. He funked through and scored on.
Yep.
Gloves went down.
I couldn't believe that.
And,
Gotcha.
man. Maybe you know something I'm not.
Gotcha. Okay. Welcome back to our live coverage of the 2012 GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships, sponsored by Team Georgia. We're preparing for the 4A 170-pound state title match, and Scott McDonald, this could be one of the all-time greats that we're looking at right here. I want to quickly remind you guys before we get to the match, top of the hour we will switch over to MeTV, that's Comcast Channel 248, Charter 126. But Scott McDonald, this could be one of the all-time greats that we're watching right here, wrestling at 170 pounds. This
young man right here is something really special, Tyler Askey. He's a junior. His high school career is 150-0. He's never lost a high school match. He's a 3-time state champion. He's an All-American at Fargo. Just a phenomenal kid on top of that, but a wrestler that you don't want. You see the Fargo, you see the throw right there. That's what we're talking about, Joe. That's what it gets you right there. Looking to be a 3-time state champ, undefeated. If he pulls it off again next year, we've only had 2 other people ever in the history of Georgia become 4-time state champs and go undefeated their whole entire career in high school.
Askey in the black singlet, by the way, facing off against Luke Runyon of Stars Mill High School. Tyler Askey from Northgate High, as Scott said, undefeated. And again, just to again inform you, we will switch over to MeTV at the top of the hour. We'll get Channel 2 Action News here.
Oh, there it is, guys, right there. There's your fall. 1 minute, 7 seconds in the state final. He was up 9-1. Gets the 3-quarter Nelson. Shows the 3-peat.
He is special, Joe. We're going to get him again next year. Phenomenal kid. He doesn't waste any time. I mean, watch the throw.
He just stacks him up, gets the tight waist, gets the 3-quarter Nelson. That's scary good stuff there, guys, from someone who's only a junior.
Just a junior. And you almost kind of wonder how much this kid will grow. I mean, he's a big kid at 170 pounds. Next year, I wonder how much he'll grow. And he just absolutely destroyed Luke Runyon as if he were a toddler in terms of weight.
Well, that throw is something that is, I can't stress enough how difficult that is and how strong you have to be to do this from that position. I mean, that's just, wow. Great shot of the replay. I think we're going to be talking to Mr. Askey here in a second.
Yeah, Scott McDonald says he's one of the best that this state has ever seen. Tyler Askey.
He absolutely is.
Tyler Askey, your 4A 170-pound champion. Tyler, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Tyler, congratulations on winning a 3rd straight state championship. Did you surprise yourself that you were able to get it done so quickly?
No, sir. I was a little more focused going into this match than the rest of the tournament, and I'd wrestled him before. I knew I could get it done pretty quickly.
Tyler, how much pressure is there quickly in terms of what you're feeling as far as thinking already about next year?
No pressure at all. Take it one match at a time.
Hey, Tyler, Scott McDonald here. Let me ask you, buddy. Hey, just real quick, how much does your training, your off-season and your extra training that you do with Arturo Holmes, how much does that go into effect of you being as accomplished as you are?
Oh, it means the world. You can tell the wrestlers that wrestle year-round from the ones that don't. Arturo's the best coach in the state, and it shows.
Tyler Askey, congratulations. We appreciate it. We want to thank our WSB TV audience for joining us at the GHSA Traditional Wrestling Championships, sponsored by Team Georgia. The Channel 2 Action News at 6 with Aaron Coleman and Craig Lucy next here on WSB. We will continue this live wrestling coverage on WSB's digital channel, MeTV. That's channel 248 for those of you with Comcast, channel 126 for Charter cable subscribers. And of course, you can catch all of the action online, WSBTV.com, and see all 5 of the matches streaming simultaneously at GHSA.TV. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll switch over to MeTV right now. Thanks to those of you who have stuck with us, and welcome back to the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia. Anthony Amy, Joe Miller, Scott McDonald, Dr. Truth joining you. We've already gone through a couple of hours and they have flown by, and we are now set for the 182-pound matches to begin live at the arena at Gwinnett Center. Such a wonderful venue. Thanks to those of you joining us on MeTV, Comcast Channel 248, Charter Channel 126. Forrest Pribish from Jefferson High School taking on Austin Ross of Morgan County. Joe Miller, Scott McDonald have the call.
Joe, I got to tell you, we talked about it earlier. Jefferson High School 9 in the finals. Of course, Pribish he's no exception to the rule. 2-time state champ, going for his 3rd, going to wrestle at the Naval Academy. This kid is the real deal. 53-1. Only match he lost this year was to Mark Martin of St. Ed's at the Clash, 3-2. This kid's phenomenal right here, Joe.
And he's kind of the poster boy for the dominance of Jefferson, guys. Jefferson, if you're just joining us, wrapping up its unprecedented 12th state straight team title in 2A. Pribish, obviously a big reason why, and he has been the guy here, and he's up to a quick 2-1 lead over Austin Ross, also in the white singlet from Morgan County. First time at state.
Hey, that's pretty good. First time you ever come to state.
Yeah, state finals.
Yeah, you get to the finals.
Just a junior. Has high expectations and goals. Wants to play football at Notre Dame when he's done with high school. So best of luck to Mr. Maybe we'll be seeing him wearing the Golden Dome in a couple of years.
I like when I asked him if he had any siblings, and he said, yeah, I've got a brother. And I said, is he older or younger? And he said, oh, he's younger than me. I said, how many years? And he said, 10 minutes.
Yeah, twins oftentimes make the best wrestlers because you got a workout partner from birth. I had 2 sisters growing up. It's always tough to find workout partners. You got a twin brother, boy, you are set.
Well, the last thing you want to do is have a sister for a workout partner and lose, Joe.
Maybe that's been my problem all these years. Well, you see here again in on the shot, Forrest Pribish, the senior. He was 6th as a freshman, state champ as a sophomore, state champ as a junior. As Scott told you, he's on his way to the Naval Academy, one of the great programs in collegiate Division I wrestling.
Nice slow transition out the back door to get the takedown, 4-1.
And Pribish Pribish adding to his lead here. Final 10 seconds. We're going to have blood time. You see the wrap around the forehead of the 182-pounder from Morgan County High School, Austin Rossell. They will tend to that. 6 seconds remaining in this first period. Take a look at the takedown again. That low single here by Pribish. Great patience, Scott. I mean, this is a move when you get in there. A lot of guys, you want to rush it. You just say, oh, look, I got him up in the air. I want to put him right to his back. You see Pribish takes his time. It's not always wrestling. It's not always about just hammering your opponent. Sometimes it's finessing it, and that was very good patience there by Pribish to let the move develop and get the takedown. Well done.
Slow and methodical, just move right along. And you know, I admire the patience right there because, like you said, Joe, you see so many, they hit the panic button and they start just moving too much. And then you got that undue movement, and before you know it, you've actually given up a takedown yourself.
Right.
Coach Robbins right there from Morgan County, trying to see if we can get the blood stopped on Ross's head. That must have happened because he was bandaged before they even came into the match. It must have happened yesterday.
Of course, the semifinals last night. 3-day tournament. We began wrestling, seems like forever ago, fellas. Thursday afternoon, and yet here we are Saturday night. I mean, really, you think about this, the winning, the 3-day. I mean, this is a grind to get here. I mean, this is 3 days of wrestling and weighing in and being in a hotel, and some of these guys being hours and hours away from home and your family and your friends. I mean, to get to where we're at Saturday night, a heck of a performance by all these guys here tonight.
There we go. Got 6 seconds left in the first period.
And again, just an emotional scene here at the arena at Gwinnett Center. Different sports bring about many of the same emotions, quite frankly, and to watch some of these parents celebrate with their children. On the other hand, you have the despair of those who come up just a little bit short, but the emotion totally genuine and certainly heartfelt, win or lose, throughout this building all day today.
Now we're going to go to the second period now. Pribish with the 4-1 lead will go down. And for those of you just joining us on the broadcast, to Anthony's point, you might see it in the background here on your TV screens. The parents are actually allowed to sit mat side. It's one of the only states, I don't know, Scott, is there any other states that does it? Probably one of the coolest features of this state tournament is that they put mom and dad mat side for the finals. And just the raw emotion you get, the hugging, the pumping of the arms, just everything that pours out at the moment of victory.
Even a father being taken out earlier that we saw.
Yeah, that's right.
A big father, by the way.
Big father.
By a 138-pound wrestler.
Yes. A Barry White lookalike almost in terms of size, and taken out by his son. Yes. All part of the raw emotion.
Yeah, that was that was quite incredible when he took off, and we saw Ryan hit his dad, and as soon as he hit him, I knew, well, we're going down right here, and he did. But that emotion is something that you have to enjoy, and you know, guys, talking for a couple of minutes here, I've been on the receiving end of that. You know, my son was a state champ. We went through it, and your emotions get so caught up in you, and you just get so in there for them. And then when they come blasting out at you and they hit you, you don't feel nothing.
You saw some of the parents moments ago. I mean, how much were your nerves churning when your son was out there on the mat?
It was really close because my son was in a 5-3 match. He was winning 5-3. And in the last, about the last 30 seconds, the guy tries to hit him with a lateral drop. My son blocks the lateral drop, takes him to his back, and holds him there. So then, after I knew it was over, I was just jumping up and down. I think I had my highest vertical ever. It probably wasn't no more than 26 inches, but it was my highest vertical, okay? Pribish having his way right here now, Joe. He's really turning it on. He's up 7-1.
Yeah, you see him going to work on top here. He set the tempo early, and that's, you know, what you want to do in these finals. You get the early takedown, you get the early confidence, you make your opponent wrestle from behind, and Pribish got out in front early, guys, and he is certainly what he's picking up where he's left off the last 2 years in these state finals. He's going for a third state title. We've seen some great individuals, a couple of guys picking up number 4. Here's a young man going for number 3. We had some freshmen win tonight, so all in all, I think the future of Georgia wrestling very bright based on what we've seen so far here tonight.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here, Scott. as Joe just mentioned, we've seen some incredible talent and ability out here this evening. Tyler Askey aside, who's the best talent that you've seen in this building today? Tyler Askey aside.
If you take Tyler Askey out of the equation, the two guys that I would say, in my opinion only, would be the most talented would be Forrest Privish and the other gentleman that we didn't get to see just a couple of minutes ago on the 182 match right over here in 5A, which is Gray Jones. Gray Jones has a nickname, the Sandman, because he puts everybody to sleep. He takes no prisoners whatsoever. We didn't show his 5A match. He won. He pinned this kid in the first period. Pretty much what he's done the whole tournament. Gray Jones is one of those that you'll see him, in all likelihood, wrestling on the big stage in D1 one day. Privish, of course, headed to the Naval Academy. Austin Trott's another one that comes to mind. You know, Ryan Mosley. I mean, you can't deny Ryan Mosley. You know, 58-0, hasn't given up a takedown all year long, wins it again. Those kind of talents right there. You know, Spencer Jones, 4-time state champ. But when I look at the things that Gray Jones has done and Forrest Privish has done over the course of a year, it's quite incredible, you know, to go wrestle that big competition and pull it off like you do.
Then how about the youngsters we've seen tonight, guys? Sean Russell, sophomore. Taylor Lujan, freshman, that wins state titles. A couple of freshmen that came up just short. I mean, there's some darn good guys that are going to be here for the next 2, maybe 3 years wrestling in these championships.
There's no question.
That Taylor Lujan was as good as anyone we saw tonight. He's a freshman.
Well, when it comes to freshmen, I think between Taylor Lujan and what we saw right here with Justin Rivera to win the 5A, the highest classification we have, to win 5A state championship at 170 pounds. But Justin Rivera, when you see him, he looks like he's been in college for about 3 or 4 years. This kid is built.
We're in the third period here at 182 pounds now at 2A. You saw the escape there by Austin Ross of Morgan County. He's got a big hill to climb, fellas, down 7-2 now early on in this third period against Forrest Privish. But again, Privish quickly back on that leg attack. Takedown here, Scott, really might put it out of reach. Put him up 7. And there is the signal. There's the takedown. Now he can just go to work and milk the clock from the top position and really just lean on his opponent here for the final 90 seconds.
Yeah, the bonus points not really needed by Jefferson. They pretty much had the state championship wrapped up yesterday. Going for that 11 or 12 in a row, whatever it is. Doug Thurman does such a great job every year just reloading the wrestling room, putting a different set of kids in there, and just year after year after year, they believe in what he puts in there. They have a youth program that does a great thing. This is the end product you get.
Well, they had 224 team points heading into the final round with 9 finalists. I mean, if it's not a record, it's going to have to be darn close. I don't know what the all-time team point record would be, but it has to be in danger here with what Jefferson's done this season.
I don't even think anyone else in that division broke out of double digits, Joe.
Runner-up was Greater Atlanta Christian, and I don't know if they had a finalist. I don't believe so. I mean, they're 200 points clear of second place. Unbelievable.
Wow.
As we watch Forrest Privish put on the finishing touches here. Yeah. I love how we ask some of these guys just other interests. We ask them general questions, kind of what they think about away from the mat. And we asked Forrest Privish his other interests, and what does he list? Wrestling.
Yeah.
Talk about a one-track mind, and it's pretty obvious with the show he's putting on this afternoon.
Now, and give both these guys credit. Forrest Privish a 3.85 grade point average. Austin Ross is a perfect 4.0. We told you he wants to play football at Notre Dame. These guys obviously have their lives pretty well on track at very young ages, and very impressive young men, both of them.
Well, I'll say one thing about Austin Ross. He's probably put the entire state on warning. He's coming back next year. He's only a junior, and he just went 6 full minutes with one of the best in the state. So, strong message from that young man, too. I think he'll have a great year next year, his senior year. Congratulations on a second-place finish, and Forrest Privish on his state title number 3, heading to the Naval Academy.
Forrest Privish caps off a great individual career, gentlemen. 3rd state title, 9-2 here tonight.
So we've seen a couple of 4-time state champions, a 3-time state champion here in Forrest Pribish, another 3-time state champion in Tyler Askey. As you guys mentioned earlier when we were on WSB TV, the future of wrestling in this sport, in this state, is very, very bright.
Yes, it is, and I am excited about it.
We're getting ready to proceed to the 195-pound weight division. Class 5A match coming up, but before we do that, we're going to go to a quick break. You're watching the GHSA Traditional Wrestling Championship, sponsored by Team Georgia. We're back on MeTV right after this.
And welcome back on in to the 2012 GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Tournament here at the Arena at Gwinnett Center. Alongside Scott McDonald, Joe Miller. How good's Anthony Amy? He can go anchor the new sportscast right in the middle of the state finals. So we're going to move it.
That's what I'm saying, you know, great. Joe, we got a good one right here. Ernest Alexander from Archer. Not only is this guy a top-notch wrestler right here, finished 6th in the state last year, he rushed for 960 yards this year as a starting tailback on the football team. He's debating whether or not he wants to wrestle or play football in college. Doesn't know what he wants to do. 66-4 this year.
County.
Yeah, Michael Johnson from Camden County. I'll tell you, this guy right here had a very, very, very bad sectional tournament. Not a good sectional tournament at all, but he came through, did what he was supposed to do in this tournament. Here he is in the state finals.
Well, we're going to be, Scotty, all about 5A here for the rest of the way, as our next 3 bouts are going to be 5A featured matches here, starting at 195 pounds. Ernest Alexander, he's the junior from Archer. He's in the red and silver singlet. Michael Johnson from Camden County in the blue and white. Camden County, interesting, Scott, is that they come in battling Collins Hill for the team race in 5A. Had one of the great dual meets, probably of the year, I would venture to guess, in Georgia at that dual state tournament finals, 27-27. Camden winning it on criteria, had more pins than Collins Hill. I think Collins Hill, based on what they've done here tonight in the finals, is going to probably win the traditional title. But what a year it's been for Camden on the team side of things.
You know, Joe, I was Matt's side, sitting right beside the mat during that whole dual meet at the state finals in the duels, and I'll tell you, great matchup all the way down the line between those guys. Phenomenal. You know, it's good to see that kind of competition, because Collins Hill hadn't really been challenged in a few years now. Camden to come on and give them a challenge, that's fantastic.
Went up on the final 10 seconds of this first period. Alexander in the red singlet. He also wears the red ankle bands. And Johnson in the blue singlet with the green ankle bands. You see the score box in the upper left-hand portion of your screen. That's how these matches will be scored based on the ankle band colors, which usually follows or tries to closely follow this singlet color. Although we've had a few crazy ones, Scott. That Blue Devil, that thing was like the size of a hot air balloon on the back of those singlets.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. You know, when these guys get colorful, I don't know how the refs do it anyway, because I would love to be a referee, but I'm colorblind, so I would be out there, and there's no telling who I'd be giving points to. You know, Johnson's an interesting story too, Joe, and here he is in the state finals his senior year. Kid did not start wrestling until his 9th grade year. Here he is in the state finals now.
Two amazing athletes. We talked about Alexander.
Nice.
The football wrestling. There's the escape. Boy, selfishly, I hope he chooses wrestling, but you could hardly blame him if he goes the football route. I mean, a 1,000-yard rusher in a very talented football team. So what a nice problem to have, huh? Do I want to wrestle in college or play football in college? Boy, that must be tough.
You know, Coach Tom Buglis over there at Archer, he's got a lot to be excited about. He has a young team, a very good team this year. Next year, Joe, I'm telling you, when we come back in here next year and start talking, I think we're going to be talking about Archer and Collins Hill next year. These guys are phenomenal, and they're young, really young.
When you look at the great progression, speaks probably volumes of the coaching at Archer. You look at Ernest Alexander, as a freshman, doesn't qualify for the state tournament. Gets a little taste a year ago with a 6th-place finish, and now here he is as a junior in the state finals. So from 2 years to here he is in the state final. I mean, that's an incredible progression by Ernest Alexander. You talked about the other side.
He's going to score off of that.
And he scores.
What a transition.
Wow. 3-0 lead now for Ernest Alexander.
Can we see that again? That was a sweet transition, Joe.
Here it is again.
Looks like he's going to get scored on.
Yeah, you see the spin move by Johnson. Alexander just scary quick with the feet and the footwork. Think he can hit a hole when a block opens up for him in the football field there?
I think that's tailback in action right there, buddy.
3-0, 34 seconds to go as we're going to have a headgear problem for Michael Johnson.
I think we got a hair problem with Michael Johnson. Alexander, I'll tell you, when you see a lot of these 95-pounders, you don't think of a kid built like this. I mean, this kid is really put together for a 95-pounder.
Yeah, poor Mr. Johnson's got more hair than hairnet. I mean, he might need to go double on the hairnet here.
Hopefully that thing won't come off again. He got real tall real quick, Joe.
Well, we have a minute. We caught up with Mr. Johnson before the match. Asked him about what his most memorable match was in his career. Here's what he had to say.
I have to say my practice room. I mean, it's not really a match, I know, but we go 10 minutes straight, and that's what I'm gonna remember forever. Is working hard in practice. That's where I feel like I do my best, and I just come here to show it. Really.
Well, you got to love that answer, Scott. His most memorable moments, practice. How many from the professional down to the little kids? How many people here say how much they can't stand practice? Here's a guy who says it's his favorite match is every day. Wonder why he's in the state finals, huh?
It was funny, when they came in there, the Camden guys. Remember they came in and they had the Fantastic Four shirts on. He was the Thing. We kept having to ask him, "Why are you the Thing?" He said, "I guess I was just voted the Thing."
Another nickname you'd love to have in wrestling.
Yeah, the Thing.
Now this is an interesting spot. I mean, Johnson. I mean, this is all equipment related. You have a certain amount of blood time and injury time, and neither one of those applying right here. This is all because of his headgear, which is required, but obviously the hair isn't required. So that's kind of a fine line, though. I mean, really, with Johnson, that's a good 2-minute break here. Obviously, we got a lot of match to go, but boy, keep an eye on it as we get forward here. And now, how about that? Right off the.
He ain't there yet, though, is he?
Not there yet. Nice counter back by Alexander. Switch and a re-switch, and then a 1-point escape for Michael Johnson.
3-1, that quick. I like to see these big guys that can move like this.
Oh, these are very athletic big men. Don't want to go anywhere. Our 220-pound match coming up next is going to be something that you definitely don't want to miss. Two just phenomenal athletes, as we have here at 195 pounds.
Slowing the pace down a little bit, 3-1. Headed to the third period. Johnson's got choice.
And he will go down. So how big was that escape, Scott, late in the second period by Johnson? Now an escape here. And you see Alexander says, I'm not going to bother. Let's put him neutral. So a takedown now gives Michael Johnson the lead all of a sudden.
We're at 3-2. Johnson working quick. Ed Alexander, he's just got good hips too, Joe. You see the hip movement that he made earlier? Just quick, pivotal hips, you know, on his left to right motion.
Well, we saw, that kind of the switch type, reversing his field with underneath his opponent. Got the only takedown of the match. Was just beautifully executed. As now here's Johnson in on a shot.
That's where the hips come into play again. Oh, and now he's
and a reshot.
A reshot.
Beautifully done.
Oh.
No points, but I tell you what, Ernest Alexander, very quick. Take a look at this again. You see Johnson's in on the shot. It's called a reshot, folks, and that's textbook.
Wow.
Johnson fortunate to be at the edge of the mat when Alexander hit that, or we might be looking at 5-2 right now. Halfway point coming up in this final period, yep.
Hair starting to pop out again. I think we're going to have a hair stoppage here in just a second. Yeah, it's coming.
Letting him go.
It's coming.
And there we go.
Here we go again. 48 seconds left to get our hair done.
Well, it's got to be frustrating for both guys, all these stoppages. But when you boil it down, Scott, Michael Johnson's only down a point. I mean, he gets a takedown, and it really feels like Ernest Alexander has controlled this entire match. But yet here we are, 3-2. Anything could happen right now with 48 seconds to go.
I think what we're going to see when we come back out of this break right here from fixing the hair, I think we're going to see Johnson next 46, 48 seconds. He's going to turn it on right here. A lot of pressure.
3-2, 48 seconds to go here in this 195-pound 5A championship match. Johnson in on the shot.
He's coming. He's coming.
But again,
Alexander stays right in front of him.
Man, it's the expression: the best offense is a good defense, and that's really translating here from Ernest Alexander.
Nice pick. Nice pick.
Well, if Alexander didn't give the two, there he did. That should do it, folks. I think Johnson got a finger in their eye. He's calling for injury time. But 5-2 with about 16. We'll see where they stop. 16 to 19 seconds left.
Well, you know, the thing is, and I may just be going off of what I saw earlier, but wouldn't be surprised if he cuts him here. Just stands him right back up. Unless, I know Coach Bugles has got to have that going through his mind right now. Can we ride him out for 16 seconds? We don't want to take a chance on a Peterson or something like that. Do we just bring him back to our feet, take our chances there? Because if we do, a takedown ties the match. Let's see what he's going to select to do. He's going to ride him out, Joe.
And 19 seconds is what they officially put back on the clock.
Got to be careful.
5-2 lead for Ernest Alexander, the junior. Now he drops down to a single.
Smart move. Now he's back up. Now they're in neutral. He's not there yet.
And there's the one-point escape, so here it is. Michael Johnson still with a shot here. A takedown puts this thing into overtime.
8 seconds. He's coming.
But Alexander has not yet even been warned for stalling, so he can just circle.
He can take one.
And he will circle his way to victory at 195 pounds. Ernest Alexander, the junior from Archer High School. Hard-fought victory. Two good wrestlers here, Scott, at 195 pounds, but Alexander's your champion in 5A.
The running back takes it. The tailback takes it back to Archer. Great match right there.
We've got plenty more wrestling ahead. Stick around. We're coming back with more of the big boys, 220 pounds. Sure. And welcome back to the arena at Gwinnett Center, the 2012 GHSA Wrestling Traditional Championships here on MeTV, alongside Scott McDonald and Anthony Amy. Joe Miller back with you for one of our big ones of the night, literally and figuratively here, Scotty. 220 pounds. Boy, oh boy, you talk about two thoroughbreds here. Travis Register, the junior from Colquitt County in the black singlet. Desmond James, the senior from Camden County in the blue and white singlet. We sat and watched the semifinal round last night. I don't think we were more impressed individually by two more guys than what we're seeing here. Very, very special athletes, and they're going head-to-head in this weight class.
These two guys right here, to be big guys, watch these big guys move the way they do, it's incredible, Joe. I'm excited about this. Both of them undefeated. Somebody's must go in this one. So this is going to be a great match all the way down to the end. You know, here we go, right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. Is he going to get it?
No points.
Doesn't
they're
get
out
it.
of bounds.
Travis Register trying to take advantage of that early on move right there.
Yeah, as Scott mentioned, one of the rare undefeated versus undefeated matchups you get in a state tournament, in a state final. So tough to go through the brackets, through the season, but here it is at 220 and 5A. You got undefeated versus undefeated, and two very special athletes. Desmond James, fourth a year ago. Register. How'd he do last year, Scott?
Register, he actually last year, believe it or not, he didn't make it.
Isn't that
didn't
something?
make it to state. Didn't get out of his area, but here he is. He was talking about, I asked him, what really gives you inspiration and moves you forward? And he said Josh Tolbert, which is Coach's son. He has Down syndrome, and he said the kid is always there with him, always rooting him along and everything. I imagine Josh is somewhere close by right now. He's watching Travis. He's keeping a close eye on the match, rooting as hard as he can.
Oh, it was we were in the interview room, very touching story when he talked about that young man and the special connection he had, and really, really good stuff. He's in a battle here with Desmond James, the senior. He was a fourth-place finisher, as we told you, a year ago. And these two are just counter on top of counter here, Scott.
I like to see the big guys when they can move. It makes for an entertaining match. Talking with Desmond, too, he's a funny kid. When we did our interview with him, and was talking about, why didn't you play football? Camden County's good at football. You're a big kid. And he said, Camden County's actually too good at football for Desmond James. I said, what? He says, yeah, he got turned on to wrestling, and wrestling turned out to be his thing, and here he is, and he's done quite well at it.
No, I was going to say thank you, football, for that one.
Hey, the all-important choice right here.
Yeah, we've seen this. We have seen this tonight as we're into the second period, no score. And that first point, if this would go to an overtime situation, it's who scores first. And it really affected, Scott, in that 160-pound match with Gamble and Meek, the strategy of what those gentlemen did. We saw a guy think about choosing top because he wasn't sure he could get away in 30 seconds. So you think, it's 0-0, it's the second period, it doesn't matter. It matters. That first point's a big, big deal if this thing would go to overtime.
Absolutely. When I talked to Register, I asked him what his favorite move was. Said a head and an arm. Loves a head and arm throw. Said if he gets an opportunity, he's going to do it.
Well, no change yet here. You see that Oklahoma with that near leg in. And we're going to get a whistle here.
Oh, illegal.
We're going to get a illegal point on James. I think got a hold of the headgear, Scott, of Travis Register. Register's going to pick up a penalty point. How big is that?
That is huge. Because he could make just an escape right here and go up by basically a takedown. Oh, no, he's going to get a reversal.
And now you see Register dropping down.
He at least can get one. We know
he's
that.
He's going to at least get one, but he's thinking greedy here. He wants 3 zip. No, we're going to be out of bounds. That'll be a 1-point escape as Anthony back with us. You picked a good match to rejoin us in, my man.
I made sure to time it out just perfect. I did what I could. Oh, I missed you guys.
Well, you're going to like the speed of these two big guys right here. These are two big guys that can actually move really, really quick.
I know our man Desmond James. I just remember he was one of the quietest people that we talked to earlier.
Right.
But you mentioned and made note of his quickness in the meeting. Very humble guy. Didn't even seem to faze him. He was just ready to get out here on the mat and do his thing.
Yeah, very, very good, solid wrestler. There's a low ankle right there. Ankle pick.
Very close.
Hey, yesterday, Joe, we watched him when he hit that super duck in the semifinals, and you just don't see a big guy hit a super duck. You don't see a big guy hit this low ankle right here either.
And I tell you what, I'm not sure that is awfully close to 2 as you see the replay.
To me, too.
That was real close. Maybe a lucky break there for Mr. Register. In any event, we're back to neutral, 2-0. Final 20 seconds of this second period. Yeah, I equate that super duck, Scott. It's like when Michael Jordan took off from the free throw line for that dunk. It's like, there's no way he's getting there. He did that duck under from about 7 feet away from his opponent. I'm like, there is no way he's got that much ability to get over there. He sure as heck did. Got the duck under, got the takedown.
Not for a big guy. You just don't see a big guy hit that super duck. I'd like to see one just to let the crowd see what a big boy super duck looks like, because it does look good.
He's really hammering that low signal, and he's been close a couple of times as this second period's going to come to a close.
Advantage Colquitt County and Travis Register right now. Let's see if he's going to cut him or if he's going to try to ride him out. What you don't want to do here, Joe, you don't want to give up 2. If you give up anything, you only want to give up the escape. You got to be careful if you're Travis Register.
Yeah, for all you youngsters watching home, you always hear the expression 1, not 2. Here's a classic example of 1, not 2. Give the escape, but don't give the reversal, which would tie the match up. And there is the escape, so we're 2-1. Very good match here, guys, at 220 pounds.
I don't think we're going to see much stalling out of these guys. So I think we're going to see actually a fight to the finish right here. Who can actually hold? There's the super duck right there. A little bit of a shuck. A little bit of a duck and shuck. Cross single. Trying to go at him now, looking for a throw.
And we're out of bounds. 1:19 remaining. 2-1 lead. The points all coming in that second period. It was an illegal hold. James had the headgear of Register, which resulted in a penalty point. Register then followed up with an escape. James with the escape here to match in the third period, and basically it's a takedown to win it for either one of these guys at this point.
That was an important point right there, because we would be tied up 1-1 right here, possibly looking at some OT.
Stalling has not been in play yet. We have had no warnings against either wrestler, so. And again, James, guys, really working that low single, Scott. We saw
the stalling call.
There's the first stalling warning against Register.
There's the duck.
Well, I can tell you this much. Register will get hit again in the final 40 seconds, Scott, unless he doesn't pick up the intensity and the pace. He's already been warned. If he thinks he can, get out without getting hit again, it's probably not going to happen. So that
he's going to have to take some shots and some body fakes to make sure he holds the referee off of that.
Because the second one would result in a point, and that would put this match into overtime. Oh, lateral drop, and we're out of bounds.
We're 35 seconds away right here.
Look at this, how close it was with that lateral drop. But great hips by Register. You talk about heavy hips, man. He laid it out. "20 seconds. James trying to step over. No points yet. And what's the call here?
We're 13 seconds away. Referee's going to consult with each other.
Boy, I'm not kidding. Register is living on borrowed time on that out-of-bounds line, fellas. That's 2 times that you could easily make the argument for a takedown. Let's take a look at this one. How close is it, Scott? You make the call.
1 foot steps, hits the line. The other. I don't know. That's borderline right there.
This is still live wrestling right here.
Live right there.
And then they blow the whistle. I'm not kidding. That is awfully close to a takedown.
I'd have to say that was control. We got 13 seconds left, and
yeah, it looks like Desmond James agrees with both of you guys. He's shaking his head. He can't believe it. He thought he deserved a point there.
Well, you know what we're going to see here, Joe? We're going to see a step and a quick shot on the whistle right here.
Here we go.
We know he's coming. We know he's coming.
There it is. And keep in mind, Register's been hit for stalling.
Yeah, all he's got to do is start taking some steps back, and he's going to get hit again.
Well, good for Register going forward. There's the super duck. And that's going to do it. Wow, what a match.
2-1.
Travis Register, 2-1 on the penalty point on the grabbing of the headgear in the second period, the difference. What a match.
Hey, he said Josh Tolbert was his inspiration. I guess little Josh pulled him through that one.
And Travis Register is going to join us, guys, momentarily. That's as good as it gets there. Feel bad for Desmond James. It's one of those matches, Anthony, where you hate to have a loser.
Absolutely. And let's go right now to Travis Register, the 5'8", 220-pound state champion. Travis, congratulations. What exactly was your mindset as you were trying to protect that lead down the stretch?
I knew he was strong neutral before we even started. And I was just going playing to see if I could last with him neutral. I knew I could score on bottom. And then he came out strong. Had to take some injury time. Get my ankles, they've been messed up all year. Get them work, don't catch my breath. They just go hard. He's a strong wrestler. I'm glad he's going to be going next year.
You told us earlier that Josh Tolbert, the coach's son, is so inspiring to you. Tell our audience why exactly he's inspired you and in what way.
Our coach's son has Down syndrome, and it's been the same way since I was in 6th grade. He's been at every match, always encouraging, always yelling, and he's just really, I was watching him. Right when I got done, he's the first person I point to. He's the one, he's encouraged me all year. He'll lead stretches at team. He's just a great all-around kid. And I know that he's fighting his own battles with Down syndrome. And it just makes you feel, you can't feel bad for yourself when you've got a kid like that who's encouraging you. And he's going to hug you if you win or lose or draw. And it just motivates you real good.
Well said. Fantastic story. Travis Register, Colquitt County, 5'8", 220-pound state champion. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Make sure you keep it right here as we prepare to wrap things up. Just about from the arena at Gwinnett Center. You're watching the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships on MeTV. Welcome back to the arena at Gwinnett Center. Live coverage of the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia here on MeTV. We're about to get to the big boys. 285-pounder Stacy Wright admitted he was a little nervous as this is his first time as a state finalist.
I'm going to be a little nervous because this is my first time ever been in the finals at state. So, I mean, I'm just going to have to keep everybody out my mind, me and my opponent, that's it, and just go out there and have fun and wrestle. That's it.
That young man plays defensive line for Lowndes' football team. He's about to face off against another senior from Brookwood, Blake Cunningham. It's the 285-pound state championship match. Once again, Joe Miller, Scott McDonald with the call.
You know, and Blake Cunningham's a football player too. He actually has a state title ring.
That's right. From last year.
From Brookwood,
right.
yeah. You know, he's a tackle, starting tackle, and you know, great kid, great story right here. These two football players making it for the first time to the state championship. Fantastic story right here of two big men. And Cunningham is undefeated as well, 49-0.
And I tell you this, Scott, you talk about the Cinderella story. How about Stacy Wright? 5th at sectionals, yet here he is in the state finals. I mean, that is amazing. You're talking about just putting it all together when you needed to. What a weekend by Stacy Wright. Sure, a 3-day stretch he'll never forget. Of going from 5th at the sectionals to a state finalist. Incredible.
You're going to go on a run. This is the time to do it, right, Joe?
Absolutely.
Of course, the big men, every now and then you got the big men matches, and they push each other a little bit. It's some people like to say, oh, the big men, they're not as entertaining as the younger, the smaller guys and everything. But when you get big men that really like to club on the head and move around and everything like these two guys do, you get a little bit of more quality wrestling at the big guys.
What's your sense of the quickness that bigger guys have to have, considering they're both powerful, they're both strong? It almost seems as if they have to display a certain amount of quickness and tenacity in order to get that mental edge in order to carry over physically in situations where you're facing someone that's just like you.
Well, that's a good point, Anthony, because in wrestling, you have to have the speed. You have to have the speed and the quickness, and that's the thing, you know, like right there. You know, being that agile as a big guy right there gets you those points, scores you those kind of points. I mean, Joe, you've seen it time and time again. When a big man can move like that, he can score. And you talk about the football connection. This is why, you know, a lot of wrestlers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen are doing the wrestling and vice versa. It's the same. It's the quick feet. It's the hand fighting.
You know, how good a hands does a center have to have when he's taking on a double block, or how when a left tackle and there's a blitzer coming around the edge? I mean, you think, oh, wrestling football, no way. Especially for the big guys, there are so many parallels, and you see so many heavyweights excel that are also good football players. Prime example right here.
Great point. I mentioned a little bit earlier, too, Jonathan Ogden of the Baltimore Ravens, future Hall of Famer, surefire, was a wrestler back in my hometown, Washington, D.C., for St. Albans High School. Went on to UCLA and, again, the Baltimore Ravens. Big guy, over 300 pounds.
Scotty would probably remember Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler. He covered him back in the day.
Yeah, I did. That was my first state championship.
Was that one on TV? I can't remember. He's actually in the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. They have a big display for Abraham Lincoln.
As a matter of fact, 13 of the 44 U.S. presidents were wrestlers at one time, including President Lincoln, George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt. So 3/4 of Mount Rushmore were all wrestlers.
We better put some headgear on Mount Rushmore, I think. Now, this big guy Cunningham, he was so impressive, Scott, the semis with the speed factor and just the wow factor. Stacy Wright was kind of like we said, he was our Cinderella pick, and it was like every round. We watched the quarters yesterday morning, we're like, no way. Then we watched the semis last night, we're like, no way. Can he do it again here in the state finals?
Yeah, to be the Cinderella, to be here is something incredible, but if he can pull this one off right here, this place might erupt. There's two right there, Joe.
There's a good
start. Just as we said it.
I mean, 3-0, 3-2 is certainly, we got a lot of wrestling left here at 285 pounds.
Cunningham undefeated, 49-0. Uh-oh.
Oh, and he just steps over, and there it is. That quickly.
Pulled him down on himself, Joe. Watch this replay. Pulled him down on him.
He goes from takedown, all the momentum's on the world's on Stacy Wright's side. And you're right, I think he tried, I don't know what he tried to flip him over, and he ended up pulling him on top of him. And a good wrestler is going to take that opening and drive it home, which is what he did. Wow.
Stacy Wright had a great tournament. Nothing to hang his head about. Fantastic finish.
Here it is again, guys. Look at this.
Just trying to return him to the mat, Joe.
Yep. That's why you always have to have your hips up on those mat returns. And Cunningham made him pay.
Blake Cunningham, your 285-pound 5A state champion. Blake Cunningham, congratulations. Talk about the finishing move there to cap it off and to cap off an undefeated season.
I've been wrestling a long time. I know I control my hips. It's all about hip movement. It's just good hip control. Catch anybody anywhere.
Our guy Joe Miller mentioned exactly that. Great hip control was the key to that move. Give us a sense of what this season has been like for you, what this ride was like. Did you feel any pressure coming into this one to finish it off?
No. I was a little nervous, and then my coach told me to have fun. That's what it's all about. No.
Blake Cunningham, senior out of Brookwood High School, 5'8", 285-pound state champion. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Congratulations, Blake.
Thank you.
Yeah, we said, guys, too, we wanted to make sure, Scott, you asked him in our interview if you had to give him a shout-out. He said he wanted to give a shout-out to his parents and his girlfriend. He made such quick, girlfriend. Yeah, so I don't want to forget about his shout-out because the match didn't go 6 minutes, so make sure he gets that shout-out in there.
You know, the one thing we did miss, too, is we had a match down on the 3A mat. Dalvin Tomlinson from Henry County. This kid's a great story. 171-2, Joe. Lost his very first match by a DQ, okay? And lost one match since then. Going to the University of Alabama on a full ride scholarship to play football. There he is right there celebrating.
Broke a lot of hearts, in fact.
That was about a 15-second pin in the state finals. Just hit a blast double right to his back, worked up the body.
His former coach there, Marty Hutzel, Doug Hutzel. Yeah, Dalvin Tomlinson, just a great story, you know, and yeah, going to the University of Alabama and being a Bulldog fan, I hate that.
I was going to say, they let you guys talk about Alabama down here on the air? Oh, man.
Let's just say Nick Saban is
what do the SEC rules say about that in Georgia? I better check the bylaws.
Yeah, Nick Saban looking forward to him doing that against an offensive lineman in the years to come.
Of course.
Keep it right here as we're about to wrap things up from the arena at Gwinnett Center. You're watching the GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships presented by Team Georgia on MeTV. We'll just kind of wrap it up.
Okay. You want us to say anything, or are you going to wrap? Okay.
I'll tee you up.
Okay.
Say it again, Adam. Full screen. Okay. So this is going to be our last block. Okay. Is there a time involved that you want me to toss to, the finish, or what? A certain amount of time that you want us to go? Okay.
You gone?
Back live at the arena at Gwinnett Center. Anthony, Amy, Joe Miller, and Scott McDonald, Dr. Truth. We've seen quite a bit of action throughout this afternoon. What a day. I mean, we've had close matches. We've seen history made. We've seen two guys win their fourth straight state title. A couple of guys win their third in a row. Probably the best wrestler in the state who's not even a senior. We've seen freshmen win. We've seen sophomores win. This has been an incredible day. What's been the one thing that you take out of this day most of all, Scott? We'll start with you.
Well, for me, I take a lot of things, Anthony, but a couple of things is the future of Georgia wrestling. Looking at these freshmen, looking at Taylor Lujan, okay, looking at Justin Rivera, knowing that Spencer Rickman's coming back as a senior next year. All these kids, when you look at that and then knowing what's coming up in the youth, I'm excited about Georgia wrestling and where we're headed and what we're doing. Fantastic. I'm looking forward to next year already.
We also saw some other history in the sense of Dalvin Tomlinson, the guy whose highlight we showed you just before we went to break, who's going to Alabama on that football scholarship, becomes the first heavyweight in state history to win 3 state titles. Wow. That is unbelievable when you consider all of the talent that's come and gone throughout
the state. Here's the entire state final match right here. All about 10 seconds
of
it.
Don't blink. First time ever that a heavyweight has won 3 state titles in wrestling.
9 seconds, guys. 9 seconds in the state finals. How'd you like to have that, Walter?
Joe, I think it took the ref longer to get down there than he actually took Davlin to take him down and pin him.
Unbelievable.
The team championship factor.
Wow, boy,
you talked about it at the top of the show.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to start with 2A, don't you guys? I mean, Jefferson. Oh, yeah. I mean, forget wrestling. I mean, any sport you want. There you see all your champions. I mean, Jefferson 12 straight. Mm-hmm. They were nearly 150 points better than second place. Incredible. You look at Class A, Bremen. They get the 4-peat. Yeah. They had a heck of a push from Gordon Lee. In 3A Heritage, same thing. Give Gilmer credit. They had 8 finalists between the two schools. In 4A, Pope, they just won their first dual title. They've been so close so many times, second and third the last 4 years. They get it in the traditional sense this year, too. They had 3 finalists tonight. Congratulations to Pope. And, boy, Collins Hill. You guys know about Collins Hill. I mean, they had 6 finalists. The Camden County gave them a go. They had a couple of impressive youngsters, does Camden County, but Collins Hill was 6 state finalist. Scott, I mean, what could you say? I mean, they did it again.
traditional. They're a strong team. I think next year we're going to see a 3-team race between Collins Hill, Archer, and Camden County. Should be exciting. I hope you come back with us, buddy.
I hope so. Matter of fact, Archer just in its 3rd year of existence in terms of the wrestling program. So, as you guys have said all night, the future of wrestling in this state, very, very bright. There are so many people that all of us have to thank. My thanks to you guys for carrying me along for the ride. I certainly appreciate it. Executive producer Sandy Malcolm, Art Rogers, our director Adam Bryant, just so many people that we're not able to name. Thank you guys so much for the support that you've given us. It wraps up our coverage of the 2012 GHSA Traditional Wrestling State Championships. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Team Georgia, and the Georgia High School Athletic Association, and the Atlanta, Georgia Takedown Club for putting on this great event. This has been a Play On Sports production for WSB TV. For Joe Miller, Scott McDonald, our great spotter, Chris Stanley, I'm Anthony Amy. Goodbye from Gwinnet Arena.